Hey everybody, and welcome back to the MarsTV Dota 2 League. This is our very last game of the qualifier portion of this competition. I was not expecting to cast today. I was scheduled to, then some things came up, so I think Agad was supposed to be here providing coverage, but he has honestly just totally disappeared. So there wasn't any coverage for the last two matches, but I figured I would jump in and just make sure that there is a cast for this one. So it's good to be joining you here today, guys. Let's have a very quick recap as to where we are. So this is the China League or China qualifier portion of the competition here. There's about $80,000 on the line, and there are two spots moving forward into the LAN finals as well. In terms of our standings, we're pretty much 100% of the way there. This is the very last game, as I mentioned. So we've got LGD and eHome tied up with 4 wins and 3 draws each. It's going to give them an 11-3 score, and they are tied at the moment for first place. And I believe that there is going to be a tiebreaker for that played at some point, though we haven't been able to schedule just yet with LGD when exactly that's going to be happening. I think we would use head-to-head, but these two teams have actually went 1-1 against one another, so there's pretty much nothing to break it unless you started looking at who they defeated or things like that. But it's actually almost a dead heat by that metric as well. In terms of the two teams that you see in front of you, Newbee and CDEC, we're going to be getting in here. And, well, this is actually the second game. I'm not 100% sure how the first one went. I believe it was a win for Newbee, at least from what I saw. It looks like they were pretty far ahead. So, I will very quickly have a look and confirm that before I say anything too silly. And yeah, so it was a win for Newbee in game 1. In terms of the standings for these two teams, let's go back once again. These two teams are actually tied as well, so 3-1-2, 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses each. So that's 7-5 before going into the series. Newbee, with that win in game 1, are going to go up to 8-5, and CDEC now basically fighting to tie up. They're fighting for 3rd place at this point. So if they lose this, then Newbee will be 3rd. And CDEC will be 4th. Hyperglory Team and Tongfu are both already locked in, it would seem, at 5th and 6th, or tied for 5th, whatever you want to call it. It's the same prize money. So it looks like a tiebreaker. You're not going to end up being played for that one. And Immortal Magneto and Team DK sitting down the bottom, 7th and 8th place respectively. So that's getting you caught up on where we are and what the stakes are for this particular match. There is a little bit of a prize money difference between 3rd and 4th. 12,000 dropping down to approximately 8,000, so still quite a bit on the line for this match, and let's get to it. So over on Newbee, they're going to be on the Dire side. We're going to have bans on Undying and Visage. Meanwhile, CDEC going to be getting rid of the Gyrocopter and Clockwork. I think it was actually Rabbit playing that Gyrocopter in the last game, and we've been seeing a lot of Gyrocopter recently. Shouldn't come as any big surprise to see that hero getting banned out. CDEC going to lead in with an Earthshaker and a Bounty Hunter, so keeping things relatively ambiguous to start things out, as Newbee just go in for straight locks on 2 cores. They're going to end up grabbing themselves a Queen of Pain and a Shadow Fiend, but does give them pretty solid lanes on the whole. It's been talked to death. Shadow Fiend's prowess on the mid lane, and even against difficult matchups, how he still manages to catch up and still manages to find his farm. Queen of Pain, of course, fantastic in pretty much any 1v1 situation that you're going to throw at her. So Newbee do have some pretty solid options here. They could potentially run the Queen of Pain solo safe lane, and then put together some kind of an aggressive tri-lane with this Rubik thus far, given that CDEC do already have double melee potentially in their tri-lane. Lesh is going to come out, but still no clear indication, I think, just yet of what exactly CDEC's roles are going to be. We've been seeing Bounty Hunter primarily in the support role recently, pretty much just roaming around. So I think We're probably going to see the continuation of that. Earthshaker has been played off-lane occasionally, and I do believe that CDEC are actually one of those teams that like to run the off-lane ES. So it could actually be core ES and a core Leshrac this game. ES is going to be great, of course, for providing a little bit of lockdown for the Queen of Pain. And if they choose to go that route on the lanes, then they've still got the opportunity to pick up another support that could make the Queen of Pain's life difficult, like a Lion or a Skywrath Mage. Lion, maybe you're thinking twice about it somewhat because you are up against the Rubik, and Lion's just nothing but fantastic spells pretty much for Rubik to get his hands on. So we'll have to see. CDEC's draft will probably have to unfold as we move ourselves a little bit further forward. What can we read in here? So Newbee banned out the Spirit Breaker and the Dragon Knight, so I think they were thinking that CDEC are looking at least one of these two heroes being a support. Again, I think Bounty Hunter's pretty much guaranteed there. And CDEC are just going to end up banning out a Chen and a Tidehunter. Newbee have been playing fairly Deathball oriented, and of course the patch at the moment does favor that quite a bit, so I think it shouldn't be too much of a shock to see these heroes getting banned out. They are both mech carriers, but we've been seeing lots and lots of mech SF recently, so that's not even necessarily what Newbee need here. And now they're going to pick up the Darkseer, who we have started to see a little bit of a resurgence in the pro scene, pardon the pun, but I think already looking pretty good in terms of putting pressure on whatever safe lane CDEC have. They are not looking like the best lane in the world to punish a Darkseer, and especially if this Bounty Hunter is going to be roaming around, that's going to leave two heroes down in the safe lane, and that's going to really allow for the Darkseer to wreak some havoc. Of course, you know, you can talk about the potential for the vacuum back into a Requiem of Souls, into a Sonic Wave, into all the AoE that Newbee are providing here, which is going to be amazing. If Rubik can get his hands on Split Earth as well, could see some pretty sick DoTA plays with a big vacuum into a stolen Split Earth, and then everything else getting rained like hellfire down on top of CDEC. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful of that, especially since they have nobody to carry a mech so far in the lineup. They do pick up the Bristleback, which we do see occasionally building mech. I think more in the Chinese scene than we do in the Western scene, but what immediately springs to mind is that, for example, Luo on his Bristleback and whatnot does still buy mech quite a bit, so that could be the ticket that CDEC are looking for here to help deal with a little bit of this AoE wombo combo. It's another melee hero against the Queen of Pain and the Darkseer, which isn't great. Bristleback is a fantastic hero to have against Rubik. However, just because there's very little that Rubik can do about you. You've got zero worthwhile spells to steal whatsoever, and if Bristleback wants you dead, you're pretty much dead. He's just gonna walk you down. So I think it's a nice pick for CDEC in that sense. Wisp has not been banned out, and I think during the summit we did see a Bristleback Wisp dual lane do very, very successfully against Shadow Fiend mid, so that could be something to look at here, but I don't think that fits with their lanes at all. Then it would have to be Leshrac soloing the safe lane, Bounty Hunter roaming, Bristleback Wisp mid, and an Earthshaker in the off lane, which is, I mean, you could do it, but the Leshrac, I think, would get totally destroyed by Darkseer, and I think that's the biggest problem that CDEC's lineup really faces at the moment, is going to be dealing with this Darkseer. So we'll see how they end up going about it. I'm still not 100% sure exactly what their lanes are going to be. The Bristleback doesn't even resolve the problems necessarily. We do occasionally see him safe lane, see him off lane quite a bit as well. So I think we're just going to have to kind of take a wait and see approach here. But Newbee's lanes are looking really, really strong. Newbee do end up banning out a Sand King, so it looks like they think that CDEC are looking for a position 4, which would make the Earthshaker Leshrac and the Bristleback all cores, and the Ancient Apparition ban from CDEC, I think pretty much on the money. Newbee are looking for another support, but they're just going to grab another kind of sort of a team party here as they end up going for the Witch Doctor. We see Witch Doctor quite a bit against Bristleback. The Maledict, of course, helps to chew through a lot of that extra survivability that he gets, so definitely a good hero in that regard, and also just another really good zoning support here. So whatever CDEC end up having in the offlane, I don't think that hero is going to be getting a heck of a lot. And yeah, Newbee's lanes at the moment just look really scary if you're CDEC. You got 3 melee heroes and a pretty low range Leshrac. We are going to end up seeing that Lion that I was talking about a bit earlier coming out, so looks like Newbee, we're getting the right kind of read. That CDEC were just kind of looking for their forward position here, and everybody's going to be picking up the heroes. Line is pretty solid to have against Darkseer on the whole. Mana Drain makes his life pretty difficult, just because Darkseer, I mean, it's a fairly obvious thing to say, but all of Darkseer has to balance his mana usage really carefully. As soon as you run out of mana in the offlane, you have to hold on to Surge, otherwise you're just dead. So just by removing a little bit of mana, you save yourself a little bit of Ion Shell damage, etc., etc., and the lane goes a lot nicer as a result. So as much as, yeah, Rubik's probably going to get his hands on some of your spells this game, still great against the Queen of Pain, and I think a really solid pick against the Darkseer as well. We've seen Nyx Assassin from time to time against Darkseer, but pretty much only in an offlane role, and it looks like CDEC were pretty locked into just having this Earthshaker as their offlane. So let's get ourselves into this very last, well, not quite very last game, but the last currently scheduled game for the MDL China qualifier here, as we have CDEC going up against Newbee. Newbee currently leading 1-0 in this 2-game series. On CDEC we have XZ on the Earthshaker, Garter on your support Bounty Hunter with some obs and some sentries. Scouting at the jungle a little bit at the moment. Meanwhile, over in the Radiant jungle, we have Q on the line, Shiki on Bristleback, Aggressive on the Leshrac, and that is going to wrap up the CDEC lineup. Meanwhile, over on Newbee, June is going to be your Darkseer. We've got Mu on Shadowfiend, Sansheng handling your Rubik. Rabbit is going to end up being on your Queen of Pain, and Banana on the Witch Doctors. So, looking like it's going to end up being perhaps a safe lane Queen of Pain. Let's have a look at what item builds would suggest. Yep, Ring of Protection on the Queen of Pain. Pretty clear sign that she's going to be heading towards that safe lane. And that does free up these supports pretty heavily to just go and do whatever they want, really. They can zone out the Earthshaker at the start a little bit, and then they can probably just start roaming around mid lane for CDEC. Looks like it is going to end up being your Bristleback, so Shadowfiend has to show him a little bit of respect, but it's not at all the same as Bristleback plus Wisp, so I think this should be just fine for SF. No blocks out on the Ancients just yet, so if Bristleback finds a little bit of extra time, or maybe the Bounty Hunter finds a little bit of extra time, could get some stacks going and could get this Bristleback to a pretty scary position this game. Again, he's likely their mech carrier, so getting some good farm on him early is going to be very important. June copping a stun down bottom, follow-up stun as well. Another splitter, it's still another couple of seconds away, however. It looks like he's going to end up being okay. Take some damage off the Ion Shell in the meantime, and the lane's going to get pushed pretty far away. And Garter even making his way down here, in fact, just to put a little bit of pressure on this DS at the start. But looks like Darkseer should still be alright. Ion Shell's going to push this into the tower, it'll bounce back at some point. And June now in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't have the Surge just yet, might have come a little bit too far forward with only level 1, and this is just going to be him getting auto-attacked to death. Tries to wander his way a little bit further towards the tower, maybe if there was a bit of experience kicking around, or could get one creep to die, but no dice. Okay, so I thought it was going to be a hard lane for your off-lane Earthshaker, but XZ is actually almost already level 3 with very little help, so the Fisher Block is working wonders for him there, and Darkseer is in fact the one struggling. The benefit, of course, is that they are keeping this Bounty Hunter down here, but June walks up in the lane once again, and with level 2 this time around, it's only going to be an easier kill. CDEC head him off at the pass. A couple of creeps getting lost underneath the tower, so Leshrac's CS not going to be perfect, but this is still a really rough start for June in the offlane, and he's just like, yep, yeah, okay, screw it, I'm out. Bottom lane is done for now. I'm just going to go start clearing out the jungle a little bit, but that will probably prompt a push out of CDEC pretty early on. Their Lesh is about to grab level 3, so he can get his first point up in the Edict. He's already got his Bassi picked up. They could run a single pull to get their wagon in just a second, and they could immediately pressure this tower. And they know that the Darkseer is left, and typically when Darkseer leaves, he doesn't want to come back within 1 minute. He's going to go and get some dedicated farm in the jungle. He probably doesn't have a TP scroll just yet, and won't be buying one until he has his Soul Ring. So I would really like to see CDEC maybe punishing that a little bit and going for this tier 1 tower, but they just still need to be somewhat wary. Either of the supports could also TP in. Fade Bolt and Paralyzing Cask are both great abilities for holding up a push. So that might give them second thoughts somewhat. But now that they've driven this now that they've driven this Darkseer off bottom lane, they've kind of freed up their Bounty Hunter again to start getting some things done. In terms of his early wards, since he had pretty much all the wards for the team, just put down a Rune Ward down here on bottom. Pretty much 100% guaranteed to be nice and safe. And I think it covered the potential aggressive option as well from Newbee pretty well. And they've got some vision over the pole and what the supports are up to this game. So I think that's really just what the Bounty Hunter is doing. He hasn't been ridiculously successful in terms of actually roaming to different lanes and doing anything just yet, but he's also making sure that the Newbee supports aren't off getting up to too many shenanigans and playing a pretty safe move. Gonna start copping some damage here in the mid lane, drops a raise onto both of them, but the Quill starts stacking up, as does the Goo. Drops the raise, finishes off one. Here comes the lift, the support rotation, and that is actually going to be 2 for 1 end of the day. CDEC kind of manning down at a weird time there, letting him get that last raise off, and alright. Looks like maybe some stick charges probably coming into the mix as well, since it is actually a full magic wand already for the Shadow Fiend, so alright. That actually ends up being really good for Newbee over all the supports. Getting a lot out of that. Almost level 4 on the Witch Doctor, almost level 4 on the Rubik. Unfortunately for CDEC, offlane still going pretty decently. XZ about to reach level 4 himself. And June's now punching some Mud Golems over in his jungle right now. He's getting scouted out by a new Radiant Observer Ward that was placed, so very good for scouting at any Shadow Fiend stacks, or this jungling Darkseer maybe getting a little bit low. Unfortunately, Bounty Hunter died before the Shadow Fiend died mid, so not getting any experience out of that kill, which is going to mean that Garter is not going to have the best of times so far. Aggressive is going to take that opportunity down bottom to start getting a bit of pushing done, picks up that point in the Edict. Going for a really heavy Lightning Storm build as far as, CDEC line up a gank here on the top lane. Do they have enough lockdown? Looks like they should really nicely chain stun by Q and just enough auto attacks to bring it down. Meanwhile, Banana and June have made their way down bot since Aggressive is just solo pushing, but he's still doing really good damage and the wagon is still going to work, tanking up a couple of tower shots. Managed to drop the aggro. Banana considering coming in from the side, but looks like not all that happy with the angle there, so just gonna give it up for the time being. Tower's low, Glyph's been used, and Aggressive is probably thinking to himself at this point that, okay, look, just one more attempt at the tower, and I'm gonna get it. But that's where you get caught every single time, so we'll see what he ends up doing here. Could just try and pull, get the lane back a little bit. Does have a Tango to try and pull through and reset the lane position. Garter, second rotation up towards top lane. Who are they looking towards this time? XZ, plenty of mana. Q, plenty of mana. Could just be Rabbit again, honestly. Exact same setup here. Maybe as he walks forward for a creep, something like that. They do need to be a little bit wary of the Rubik counter-initiating. That could be a problem, but they know where he is. They know what he's up to. And they just kind of have to wait until he leaves the Queen of Pain alone. But looks like Q's already kind of given up on the idea, and he's just going to take his Tranquil Boots and start hiking it over towards mid lane. June's going to take his creep punching antics over towards the enemy jungle for the time being. This is something that we see from Darkseers a lot once the enemy tier 1 tower is down, but I think at the moment it's just because he kind of knows that it's only the Leshrac down here at the moment, and just wants to spend a bit of time minding his tier 1 tower and not giving that gold away for free. In terms of an early lead, we've got pretty much nothing on the board right now net worth wise, though we are up to about a 1k experience lead in Newbee's favor, and that's primarily just because they're being a little bit more static on the lanes, and the fact that the supports got that double kill on mid lane. That was a lot of experience for them there, so Newbee a tiny bit more efficient on the map thus far, but CDEC still doing decently. Bristleback hasn't really shown us just yet what exactly he's going to be going for. It does have a little triple stack over here to clear out, so it looks like CDEC are doing a good job of setting him up. No stacks on the Ancients just yet, but it looks like Garter might go and maybe go and grab that once he's done some experience here on mid. So we're just kind of settling in for the time being. In terms of Queen of Pain build, nothing too shocking just yet, just some treads. Picked up a Rabbit, has not completed the Bassi just yet, but Newbee probably don't have too many intentions of trying to push into this tier 1 tower. It is always going to be difficult against Earthshaker, especially once he's already got his bottle up. He's always going to have plenty of fissures, and you're really just beating your head against a brick wall going for that one. Banana comes up, checks out whether there's a ward here, blocks out the Ancients as well with the sentry ward, so... I think also checking for stacks at the same time, so just gets a little glimpse up onto the high ground, but he's not going to find anything there. June just has some Tranquil Boots thus far, and then another Ring of Regen picked up, so it looks like Soul Ring should probably be his before too long. We got some attempted bottle refill shenanigans maybe here on mid lane, but it looks like not quite. At least somebody is going home with an empty bottle. Xe wandering back to top lane. And Sansheng Mu smoked up. Making a move at the moment. Banana also in tow. They've got some dust. They've got some observer wards, so they do have that poor man's gem at the ready. We're going to jump down bottom lane. They're looking for June. 3 heroes here. Tower does end up falling. Aggressive getting dragged back in as Newbee bring in everybody. Aggressive just going to do as much damage as he can. Drops to the Sonic Wave. A little bit further down, line ends up getting caught. And looks like just raised an auto attack down by Mu. So CDEC do end up grabbing the tier 1 tower end of the day. But they do also end up losing 2. And it's quite a bit of gold. Actually, a lot of gold. Going to Newbee. Out of that as they equalize back up 2-2. And with the double damage and everybody down here, it looks like it's going to be a nice, easy, uncontested tier 1 tower. So, what are CDEC getting done in the meanwhile? A little bit of damage on mid, but June once again going to come in, throw out some karate chops, and just keep things under control. And Banana and Rabbit already using this opened up jungle to start making their way down. Well, making their way over towards mid at the moment. Rabbit's TP's on cooldown for now, so nobody taking advantage of the farm up top. Rubik could be there, but I think Sansheng's feeling just fine with his position in the game. He's just about to grab his spell steal. He's already got his arcane boots up, so he's a pretty happy chap. Shiki looking for this 10-minute room, but there are 3 Newbee heroes here, so he's going to be playing it pretty safe. Garter does come in, looking for something. Going to get scattered out just barely by the sentry ward up in the camp, and that's actually going to be the Shadow Walk for Sansheng. Alright, so they're going to have to pay a little bit of respect to that. I don't think they're carrying too much anti-invis at the moment. Aggressive, just switching over to a different tower here. Pretty tanky build thus far. Power Treads, Bracer, has picked up the point booster. Very, very common to see early Bloodstone on your Kolashrak, so that's probably the build that we're looking at for him thus far. His team doesn't really need Arcane Boots that badly, so I think it's just fine to end up going for the Power Treads here as the first overall pickup. Garter looks like he's going to get a little bit of time to farm for himself down bottom to try and pick up his level 6. The track, both the track move speed and everything else that it's providing are going to be really important this game. They do have pretty good lockdown for the Leshrac to be able to get in and do his damage, but Newbee are also a really mobile lineup as well, especially between the Queen of Pain and the Darkseer. So I think any little bit that they can get is always going to end up being relevant. Rubik Shadow walking around, trying to get in position for this top lane. Rabbit does have his Bassi turned on. He's got his intentions stated pretty clearly in terms of pushing this tower, but what CDEC might not realize is there are 2 Invis heroes lurking just back here waiting for something to happen. Xe gonna wander over to the tree line. Moose scouts him out, has the Requiem available. They could just lift him into a Requiem. Are they gonna even need it? Nope. Rabbit comes blinking in over the top, drops the Sonic Wave. Q now popping out of the trees. Looks like he might end up going down as well. There's a couple of tracks coming out, but Q's still gonna end up going down just like his buddy. And all Garter can really do is watch helplessly. Mid lane, Aggressive and Shiki are going in. Looking to get this tower, looking to get the kill on the Queen of Pain, but managing to blink away there. Rabbit. Banana now getting the cask off. Bristleback still sticking around here. Has some wand charges, but looks like tower's too healthy, and Leshrac's pretty much totally so that's gonna be that. Shiki's like, dude, do you want my bottle? You can take the regen, and I'll just take the sips. But no, looks like Lesh just gonna go grab some farm down bot. And Shiki is going to end up grabbing the regen for himself. So, Tier 1 tower does not end up falling mid lane. Both teams being pretty stubborn in terms of holding onto their towers at the moment. But Newbee are starting to open up a little bit of a net worth and an experience lead. Shadow Fiend doing great. What is Moo actually picking up here? It's actually going to be a straight up Yule Scepter for him, so it looks like it... Yeah, it is going to end up being the Darkseer going for the mech this game. So, slightly more aggressive build out of Moo. Yule's definitely going to be nice for helping to get rid of tracks, finding solo pickoffs. Carter runs right into a sentry. Poor guy. Oh, and the track stolen by the Rubik. Bonus gold galore for Newbee right now. That was actually the absolute best result for Newbee. They put down the sentry ward, they immediately spot the bounty hunter, and they steal the track, and that kill on the bounty hunter is a track kill. So how much gold? Yeah, just 2 heroes, but 600, 180 lost for poor Garter, and this is a really big spell to have stolen. Sancheng is going to be telling his team, look guys, let's go do something. How close are we to putting up some kind of a fight? Darkseer not quite to his mech just yet, and that might be the cause of a little bit of hesitation for them. They might want to finish that one up before they go and get something done. But Sonic Wave is back off cooldown, and just the Rubik and the Queen of Pain could go wandering around and just find a track kill with that one. So we'll see what they end up doing here. Sunshine gonna come in, do a little bit of warding, spots the Bristleback waiting in the camp, comes around the corner, probably needs to throw the track. Rabbit also here. Mech does get popped by Shiki though, showing that one off. And some wand charges as well, so it looks like he's gonna end up being alright. I think Rubik could have thrown the track for extra track move speed, and then that would have helped him get in range for the telekinesis, and they really needed the telekinesis because the Rabbit needed to blink in the telekinesis situation and throw the Scream of Pain and the Sonic Wave right on the Bristleback's face. And I think they could have potentially bursted him, but I think Sunshine was probably just trying to play around with the fog a little bit more. They come diving in deep right behind the tier 1 tower. They are a little bit split up from the main group, but gonna stay as a pack and just to rejoin Moo and June as they do end up taking down this tier 1. No contest from CDEC in the meanwhile. They do have this Earthshaker Blink Dagger picked up, so Xe has been quietly just farming away, and this does need to be pretty impactful for him, I think, almost right away. They've got their Blink, they've got their mech though, so they are pretty well equipped to take a fight. Unfortunately, this Rubik track is going to be a bit of a nuisance, and they really want to go for this smoke, but now 2 heroes are tracked, and it's kind of ruining everything. But they're still going to go for the smoke. 3 heroes moving off to the side. The tracked hero is going to be sticking around a little bit, but I think their movement is making this somewhat obvious. Newbee just sticking under their tower for now. Sunshine comes walking forward. Looks like he might actually get just blown up. Oh my lord. Not even a chance for the Ruby to get a single track off. So CDEC eliminating that spell, and Shiki's still looking for more. Yule Scepter going to come in, opens up a little bit of space. One ray is going to come out, but looks like CDEC just going to end up setting their sights towards this tower. Xe does end up revealing his Blink Dagger in the process, but CDEC with those 2 big item pickups are going to start swinging things back somewhat. And you have to remember that it should be pretty much nothing but track kills for a CDEC from this point forward, so it should be a pretty nice way to start bringing back this net worth difference. And experience, well, that's still going to take a little bit longer. Rabbit, in terms of item build for him, looks like it's just going to be a straight up Ags this game. The mech is now complete over on June, picks up a casual cloak as well, so pretty tanky. The general preference these days for Darkseer does seem to be for kind of your tankier builds. Overall, I feel like we've been seeing quite a bit of Vanguard, casual cloaks, casual VIP boosters. I mean, all of it's just to do with the fact that you're already fairly mobile with Surge, so you can kind of get in and get into the position that you need to. But after that, you're right in the middle of everybody, and you're also often going to end up being the target of a lot of focus from the enemy team. You're more than likely the mech carrier, you're more than likely the primary initiator or the primary setup for team fights with the vacuum, so getting rid of Darkseer ASAP pretty much always makes sense, and as a result needs to build a little bit tanky. Banana is gonna end up being a track kill top lane as CDEC swoop in and grab that one. Newbee are, I think, gunning towards Roshan at the moment as they realize that everybody on CDEC is over towards the top lane. So classic Dota trade coming up. It's going to end up being the Dire Roshan for the Radiant taking the Dire tier 1 safe lane, they've got their mech, they've got the 1 point up in the presence of the Dark Lord. Roshan is a little bit tankier because of that new armor buff, but I think Newbee should still be just fine to take this one down, especially if they're smart about rotating the tanking, but they do need to be careful about not getting clapped here. CDEC, however, they want to come and contest this one. They're going to immediately smoke and start running over. They're not going to take that tier 1 tower. They're banking on this Roshan taking Newbee a little bit longer than they were expecting, but not going to end up happening. Can they still take this fight? XZ comes blinking in. Echo's already been used, but he gets the 3 Hero Fisher Sonic Wave, however, catches everybody. Moo does not manage to get the Requiem off. It's only the Death Requiem here. Rabbit trying to escape out the back lines, but his Aegis is still going to end up being popped. June sticking by the wall for now, trying to fight that one out. Banana going to end up dropping the Death Ward, which is going to make Shiki think twice on the back lines. They do manage to chain stun down the Queen of Pain, and the Darkseer as well, trying to find his escape, is going to be finished off as Shiki hunts for this final kill. Banana going to drop off the paralyzing cask, but there's nothing for it to bounce to, and a few more auto attacks is going to be all that it takes for CDEC to get that 5-0 team, well, get that 5-1 team wipe at the end of the day. Actually 6-1, I guess, if we're going to end up counting the Aegis, and that is just so much gold and so much experience for CDEC. Yep. Net worth's going to swing back past 0. Experience looks like it's going to do about the same thing. And, well, the tier 1 tower did not end up being taken in the top lane, but CDEC are still going to be 100% happy with what they just got. Leshrax now got his Heal Scepter picked up, so the Queen of Pain and the Shadow Fiend are all of a sudden looking really, really squishy. Moo is going to be picking up a BKB before too long, so that's going to help him out. Looks like Rabbit, for the most part, just going to have to rely on good positioning and a little bit of a bailout from his Darkseer. Bristleback looks like he's just going to be going... Is he just going to go for a BKB? I would... It's one of those games where BKB is good, but not... but there's still some downsides to it for the Bristleback, but yeah, okay, never mind. Mr. Hammer gets picked up. It's still just way too useful. As much as the Sonic Wave is still gonna mess you up a little bit, you have to dodge the Requiem. You have to be able to... You might even just need the BKB so that you can BKB as you drop out of Yules, and you don't get comboed that way. So Shiki's gonna have that one pretty soon. Looking big and beefy and ready to get involved on the front lines. Aggressive, another 1800 gold on top of this point booster. We'll see if he does end up actually just going straight for the Bloodstone here, or if he maybe has something else on the brain. Probably not an Aghanim Scepter, and I guess Octarine Core also seems a little bit unlikely. So I guess we're still betting on the Bloodstone option for the moment. Earthshaker out of those last couple of fights looks like might just be working on a 4-staff Lion. Unfortunately, looks like still not able to grab too much farm just yet. We do have that soul booster getting delivered, so whatever Aggressive is going for, we're going to find out relatively soon. But yeah, Q's just got a bunch of little items at the moment, so no Blink Dagger for him. Bounty Hunter's doing pretty well, and they're going to find that Rabbit and burst him down with that shiny new Dagon. Okay, so I said, yeah, Rabbit's looking a little bit squishy, and that chain stun from the Earthshaker is definitely going to affirm that. Alright, so with that, CDEC taking a 12-8 kill lead. Net worth just continues to skyrocket in their favor, as does experience. They didn't manage to claim too much vision control after winning that huge fight around the Roshan pits. It looks like wards may have not been available or something along those lines. They're going to come in here and, well, secondary bounty. Queen of Pain's dead. They're just going to clear out these Ancients. Absolutely no problem. Cheeky with the Quill Spray going to work. Aggressive. A little bit slower with the Diabolic Edict, but still bringing everything down relatively quickly. Moo does have his BKB completed now, and he's swaggering around with a double damage rune active, but what are they even going for here? I guess tier 1 tower is probably in the crosshairs at the moment, but Rabbit just playing this ultra safe bottom lane. Comes blinking in from the side. Can't see anybody at the moment from the CDEC side, so he's just going to throw the Sonic Wave in. and get the heck out of there. Looks like CDEC interested in mounting a defense top lane. Echo Slam is still on cooldown. Moo gonna man up here. Pops the BKB, drops the Requiem, and that's gonna be the end of your Lion. Shiki also looking to fight, pops his BKB, does still have the mech in reserve. It looks like Moo with that BKB does secure the tower, does get that first kill. June, however, getting blocked off by the wall, makes it a little triangle with, gets blocked off by the Fissure, makes a little triangle with a wall of his own. And that is going to be enough to keep CDEC back. So just the tower and the one kill. BKB does end up being used, so CDEC going to be keeping that in the back of their minds as the line respawns. And they potentially consider going for something. But again, vision is still a little bit weak from them. And it looks like that... Where are the wards, actually? It looks like Garter's not buying them anymore. Q has a singular ward at the moment, or at least a singular observer. And it's going to get a second one delivered here. Okay, so they just need to go and get a little smoke expedition going. And go and get a couple of wards down there. Moo. Yule's up here on the mid lane. Sunshine coming in as well. They get the lift off. Couple of raises down. Back into the triple raise. Really nice coordination there from Newbee. It's the little things that add up, but very good. And that is going to be a pretty straightforward kill. Rubik's still just going to hold on to the lightning during all of that. It is about to fade, so I think you could make the argument that Sunshine maybe should have stolen something new, but not going to end up being the biggest of deals. We do now have a gem picked up as well, it would seem. That's going to be over on the Bristleback, so this is really CDEC's bid to control the map. They're going to hopefully go and get some wards down. They're going to completely deward their side with the gem. They've got their Bloodstone picked up on the Leshrac now as well, so they're looking to fight, they're looking to build up some charges. And this is really, it seems, the decisive point of the game in CDEC. Well, 5-man smoke coming out. They're still a little bit blind as to what exactly they're running into here, but they've got the big strong Bristleback at the front lines with his BKB, so he's not all that scared. They're going to jump in and Echo Slam an illusion of Moose. Oh man, they're still smoked, but I mean they know exactly what's going on here. Track's gonna end up coming out. Dust going back the opposite direction. Sunshine manages to steal the track once again, not being covered all that well. Moo comes running in, still feeling safe, pops off his BKB. A couple of auto attacks being traded, but the fight splitting up somewhat awkwardly for CDEC as the Earthshaker gets isolated over towards the mid lane. They do manage to group up somewhat, but the wall vac is gonna punish them a little bit here. Q manages to get the Finger of Death off, but does very little damage. And Newbee still continuing to fight as the unit as CDEC are even further split up. Garter's up on the high ground here. Once again, CDEC do a pretty good job of cutting their losses. And are just going to end up leaving the Lion behind. So, mitigating things somewhat, but quite a bit of wasted time with the smoke. Wasted Echo Slam on the illusion. And Newbee picking up that kill as well as the newly stolen track from Sunshine. Unfortunately, not level 11 just yet, so not getting that bonus duration in, but we'll see what he can get done. And that was, again, that was a big... That smoke was a very big deal for CDEC. If that had gone right, then they'd have wards up over in the Dire Jungle that have really good control over the map. If they'd gotten a good jump, then they could have maybe taken down this tier 2 mid, because it's actually already super low, and that would have really continued to extend this lead that they'd started to build up. But Newbee gonna slap it right down to about 0 on gold and about 0 on experience as well. June has now picked up a pipe. He's looking like he might be a little bit mana starved at the moment, so we'll see what he looks towards to help alleviate that. Pipe's 100, max 225, so that's 325 plus 250, 575 plus a vac, 765. Yeah, and that's not including any iron shells or any surges. Yeah, he's got the soul ring and could do some tricky stuff with dropping items, soul ringing, picking them back up, stretching his mana pool out that way. But Jin's just definitely gonna have to be a little bit more conservative here and make sure that he gets off his big 4 abilities before he looks towards checking out too many iron shells in the fights. Notably, he doesn't really have too many heroes that benefit all that much from having an iron shell. They don't have a bristleback, they don't have any melee right clickers, so it does end up being a slightly lower priority overall. in these team fights. But anyway, Leshrac finishes up the Bloodstone. Looks like a BKB coming out for him. Before too long, that Force Staff that I was talking about on the Earthshaker is complete, along with an Ogre Club. And well, I've already clicked on Leshrac. We've got Garter with that Dagon, has not been leveling it up. He bought the gem for the team a little bit earlier, and Bristleback has just grabbed himself a Sanj thus far. So we'll see what that is going to end up being built towards. I'm guessing probably just S&Y for the time being. Not a ton of value to be gained just yet out of Heaven's Halberd, just because Moo does still have a BKB available. Rabbit has just picked up an Ultimate Orb so far, so no defensive items just yet. I think it's a little bit unlikely that we're going to be seeing a Lincoln Sphere. It's just really garbage against Bounty Hunter with this new 4-second track cooldown at all levels. And CDEC, well, they didn't get that smoke, they didn't get those pickups they were looking for, but they're still going to come out here, try and place a few wards, and take the tier 2 tower, but Banana is on top of that ward, gets rid of it immediately, and it's just going to end up being the tier 1 tower taken down. Nobody grabbing the last hit, so a little bit of gold lost there, but CDEC are going to continue to 5-man. I think they're honestly a little bit afraid of losing their gem if they split up, and the map is super dark for both teams right now, so it makes sense that everyone is really just staying grouped. In terms of Newbee's items, I think Quap is looking at likely just a Hex. We've got an Ultimate Orb picked up for the Shadow Fiend, which is likely a Scotty here. And, well, we didn't get that trade earlier, but looks like this time around we might. Newbee looking towards Roshan, but I don't know. He's got more armor than he used to. He's a little bit more difficult to bring down. And I think Newbee, we're expecting that one to drop a bit more quickly as CDEC plow right through the tier 2 tower and force them back by doing some damage to the tier 3. Sonic Wave is going to clear things out. They had a Fade Bolt in reserve if there's anything that managed to survive through, but it's just going to be CDEC getting the tower for free, and they're going to go back and grab some farm in these lanes. So a good couple of minutes for them. It's going to be small net worth spike, small experience spike. The Shadow Fiends, okay, he's taking the farm priority top. June, have not seen what he's going for next just yet. It is a really good 4-staff game. It's a really good Glimmer Cape game, but he's not buying it. He really cannot support it, so probably gonna have to look at Banana or Sanshang to pick that one up. And Sanshang might still want a positioning item before he goes for a Glimmer Cape here. Could just see another 4-staff from him if he's feeling super big playsy. Then we'll probably just see the blink if he gets his hands on the Fissure or the Split Earth or any of Lion's spells. Then the blink is going to be fantastic. So I think that influences the decision somewhat. But the 4-staff does definitely do a lot for you in terms of counter initiating against Earth Spike Hex. I mean, even just 4-staffing people out after they get Yulesed. Split Earth is probably going to end up landing, but you could at least get people away from the Fissure, etc., etc., and decent for kiting around the Bristleback as well, who has completed up that S&Y. Newbee 5-man smoke for now. Lane's in a pretty unassuming position on the whole. June able to keep things pushed out with the Iron Shell without really revealing his position too much, so that's always nice. As we will start the delicate tango around the Roshan pit. Neither team really seeing a heck of a lot. Newbee smoking over into the pit. And oh, they're gonna go for it. They're trying to get this right underneath CDEC's noses. But CDEC, they're suspicious. Shiki's gonna go poking his head inside the pit. He's gonna find them all. Pops the BKB. Fissure coming in as well. Newbee now trapped somewhat. June getting worked away at. He's going to search his way over towards the high ground where they've already managed to take out the Witch Doctor. He was trying to run to safety. Shiki, now it's his turn to run as the BKB fades. Sticking with this team for now. They can't really fight around the wall, but Newbee are not in a position to try and force hit this Roshan. And Moo also popping off his BKB. So that one's down. Still a battle for positioning. Garter somewhat awkward for him right now, but gets a couple of tracks off and is going to be able to retreat back to safety. So Newbee continuing to try and force things around the pit here, and just kind of getting punished for it. I mean, they can't necessarily split push because the CDEC gem is giving them a whole lot of trouble in terms of keeping up any aggressive split pushing wards, and this is exactly what happens if you try and go out a little bit too far. Rabbit does manage to get the blink away over into the tree line. They needed the tiniest bit of help, well, or at least XZ needed the tiniest bit of help to grab that kill, but unfortunately his combo is not going to end up being enough. CDEC pinging out Roche somewhat, but I think they've looked at Newbee and they're like, look, these guys have tried and it's gone badly for them every single time. So let's just ignore Roshan for now. And unless we win a big fight and then we take it afterwards, let's just not. And oh, that does seem to be working out for them thus far. I've got the BKB picked up on Aggressive now, so he is more than ready to start running into these fights and getting some damage down. Has his Pulse Nova maxed out, and for Newbee, they do have this pipe over on the Darkseer, which is definitely going to help out quite a bit, but there is a lot of magical damage on CDEC. The Yule's up into the air on Rabbit, drop him down into a beautiful Leshrac stun. And 60 seconds dead for the Queen of Pain. Can they catch anybody else? Moo missing the Requiem kill here on Q. That's going to be pretty nasty. BKB looks like it's still going to be enough for him to grab this one, but Rubik dying over on the high ground. June trying to find a good angle for the wall, drops it down. Banana just getting mauled. They vacuum everybody back in. June still doing good damage with the Ion Shell, but it's a triple kill thus far for Aggressive. Make it an Ultra and give the man a Rampage. No, it's going to end up being Eggsy stealing the kill for the dominating streak, but it's a 5-for-1 overall exchange. And looks like that might be what CDEC are looking for here to go for Roche. Shiki is really low, however, but they're still sticking with this one. I don't think XZ can tank this all the way down to 0. Q's already like, guys, what do we do here? They know that we're in here. There's a ward on the high ground. We haven't gone and pushed the lane. Everyone's about to respawn. This Queen of Pain that we killed, she still has Sonic Wave. She still has all of her cooldowns, but okay, they are committed at this point. Roshan's way too low for them to leave. Aggressive gonna keep on tanking. Shiki gonna take a few hits. Oh, he's so low. XZ as well, but they do manage to get it in the end. Oh wow, that was okay. That was some good juggling. Did a good job with the Roshan aggro. They've got their Aegis now up over on the Bristle. They probably have their sights set on this tier 2 bottom lane. Oh, and Bouncy Hunter gonna reward himself with a little Dagon upgrade. Still a team player, has still picked up a 4-staff. But Garter just stacking up the burst, and that is going to continue, I think, to give Rabbit a really hard time. And I somewhat wonder if he's regretting the item choice here. The Hex is still going to be amazing, don't get me wrong, and it's also a decent way to help deal with getting Yules comboed, because you can just drop out of it, spamming Hex on the person that Yules you, and deal with them that way. But the Leshrac now has a BKB, so if he sees the Hex, he's just going to BKB as the Queen drops down so that he can get his guaranteed Split Earth off. I've got a Blink picked up for the Leshrac, and he still has another 2.5k gold, and he's got 14 Bloodstone charges, so Aggressive has had a spectacular game on Leshrac thus far. 6-1 and 4. Has managed to get a lot of farm down as well, is actually the leader on last hits right now, and well, Bloodstone is definitely putting in some work for him there. We've also got a Blink Dagger picked up over on the Rubik, so Sunshine grabbing some big plays potential there, and I feel like we still haven't really seen the full power of the Newbee team fight. So as much as things are looking a little bit grim for them as they're down 10k net worth and 10k experience, they do still have a very scary high ground defense lineup, and they can still definitely scale as we move a little bit further forward into the late game. Moo's got another 1500 gold on top of his Scotty. Aggressive can end up grabbing a plate mail here. Is it going to be a Shiva's? Probably just a Shiva's coming out for him. Rabbit, once again getting caught by XZ. The Blink comes in. The Yules is there. They're going to try and save the Echo even. That's some style points for CDEC, and well, holding that up is only going to make this next push even easier. Rabbit just zero vision really whatsoever to work with, and non-stop getting punished down here on this bottom lane. I feel like XZ is just kind of reading him like a book at the moment, but anyway. Darks are going to try and alleviate things somewhat as he does end up grabbing a gem, but that's going to delay his next item a bit. There's some dire vision up on this cliff, spotting CDEC as they start moving in, but the question is whether or not that vision is actually going to do anything for Newbee, as CDEC are going to start beating on their door. They've got the Aegis in hand for 2.5 minutes, which is a very, very long time. Sunshine manages to get his hands on the Pulse Nova. Definitely not the best spell for your 1k mana Rubik at this stage of the game. Glyph's going to end up being used, and Newbee are going to have their Queen of Pain back soon. Mid lane's in a decent position. Top lane's in a decent position as things go for Newbee, but I think CDEC are still keen to continue laying into the tower here. Shiki going to cop some auto attacks and some tower shots. And that is that going to be it? Do they have an urn? They have an urn on Q and a Glimmer Cape now, but he doesn't actually have any charges, so looks like nothing to heal up the Bristleback. He does have his own mech, but looks like they're just going to try and commit. XZ goes jumping in with the BKB. Chain stun looking for Moo. Can they focus him down in time? He gets up the BKB and starts auto-attacking away. Requiem, just the death one popping out there. Sancheng off to the side, steals the Earth Spike, keeping Q locked down. Aggressive, running away from tower shots. Gets Hex, is still going to end up being chased down. It's a 3-for-1 thus far. And Leshrac is only dead for 12 seconds with all those Bloodstone charges. Shiki hasn't even lost the Aegis yet. Chasing around inside the base, losing sight of the objective somewhat, but CDEC will turn their attention back towards the lane of Rax. With the Aegis still available, this looks like it could even end up being multiple lanes. XZ on point this entire game, and Sunshine, he's had enough. They're just going to end up tapping out and calling it GG. So that does end the series 1-1, and I believe that puts both of these, I think that ties it up for these two teams in terms of the overall standings. So I don't know if there's going to be a tiebreaker played or what's going on. Well, there's a message in the organizers group that says CDEC and Newbee have the same number of points, so we need one more game to know who finishes third. It might be now, so I will wait for official confirmation. But yeah, these two teams are tied third right now, and there is a prize money difference, so this is going to have to be resolved one way or the other. But that is going to, for the scheduled portion of the MarsTV Dota 2 League, wrap it up. So thank you guys for tuning in. The cast was a little bit impromptu, but I hope you still enjoyed it. If you want to leave any feedback, you can email me at basecupdota@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm just going to bump it out to a splash. I will be back with... I will definitely be back either telling you when the CDEC versus Newbee match, well, the tiebreaker match is going to end up being played, or I will be back with the match itself. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Alright guys, looks like we are just going to go straight into a third game, so it looks like it is just going to end up being a best of one tiebreaker. So this is a best of one game with $4,000 on the line, which is pretty exciting stuff. I think they're probably talking to the teams at the moment, making sure that they're up for it, but at the moment I'm sitting in the lobby. CDEC have joined, no sign of Newbee just yet, but I'm going to put up some music and I'll see you soon, hopefully, for this match. Yep, so we've got Newbee coming in as well, and looks like we are going to be having our tiebreaker right now. So get hyped, guys. I'll see you soon.
was right, if I was right, I'd be with you. Hey, all my life, all my life, I thought I knew. If I was right, I'd be with you. Oh, yeah. Early nights and stage fright, their eyes are stage lights. I can't hide the fear without you. Now I can't sleep right, and the food don't taste nice. I'm just not myself without you. You took too much, I didn't get enough. Should have been the other way. Every morning I feel like something in me wants to die, and if I'm right, I'll be with you.
Okay, never mind. We don't actually have anybody from Newbee just yet. So there's probably some discussion going on behind the scenes as to whether or not the match is being played right now, or whether it's being played later. But I will just keep you guys posted as I receive updates. So thank you once again for being here and watching the MarsTV Dota 2 League. And I'll be back with another update soon.
Hope when you take that jump, you don't feel the fall. Hope when the water rises, you built a wall. Hope when the crowd screams out, you're screaming your name. Hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay. Hope that you fall in love and it hurts so bad. Hey, the only way you can know, you give it all you had. And I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain. Hope when the moment comes, you'll say, that you spend your days, but they all add up. And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup. Oh, I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain, but until my moment comes, I'll say I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did, and with every broken bone, I swear I lived. I swear I lived. Every broken bone, I swear I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did, and with every broken bone, I swear I lived. I swear I lived.
Can't be sleeping, keep on waking without the woman next to me. Guilt is burning, inside I'm hurting. This ain't a feeling I can keep, so blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me, don't blame it on me. Blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me, don't blame it on me. Blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. So blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. Can't you see it? I was manipulated. I had too little through the door. Oh, I had no choice in this. I was the brain she missed. She needed mental talk, so blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. So blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby. Yeah. Oh, I got to things. I'm sorry. Oh, I promise. Don't blame
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way, from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach, so remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Don't let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you
Saturday morning, jumped out of bed and put on my best suit. Got in my car and raced like a jet all the way to you. Knocked on your door with heart in my head to ask you a question, 'cause I know that you're an old-fashioned man. Yeah. Can I have your daughter for the rest of my life? Say yes, 'cause I need to know. You say I'll never get your blessing till the day I die. Tough luck, my friend, but the answer is no. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? Why you gotta be so rude? I'm gonna marry you anyway. Marry that girl, marry you anyway. Marry that girl, yeah, no matter what you say. Marry that girl, it will be a family. Why you gotta be so rude? to do this, you leave no choice. Can't live without her. Love me or hate me, we will be boys, standing at that altar. Or we will run away to another guy and say, you know she's in love with me. She will go anywhere I go. Can I have your daughter for the rest of my life? Say yes, cause I need to know. You say I'll never get your blessing till the day I die. Tough luck, my friend, cause the answer's still no. Why you better be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? Why you gotta be so rude? I'm gonna marry you anyway. Marry that girl. Marry you anyway. Marry that girl. No matter what you say. Marry that girl. And we'll be a family. Why you gotta be so rude? Can I have your daughter for the rest of my life? Say yes, cause I need to know. You say I'll never get your blessing till the day I die. Tough love, my friend, but no still means no. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? Why you gotta be so rude? I'm gonna marry you anyway. Marry that girl. Marry you anyway. Marry that girl. No matter what you say. Marry that girl. And we'll be a family. Why you gotta be so rude? Yeah. Oh, why you gotta be so rude? Why you gotta be so rude?
Listen, yeah. I see the stars in your eyes, and you know you've lost your disguise. When I hit that with a bang, when I'm in that, you're insane. In a cave, on a dock, on the roof, everywhere. Under the clouds, when it rains, I don't even care. Nothing can keep me from your loving, no way. Climb a mountain, long as we got peace. I can please you on a desert, the bottom of the sea. No matter where we are, tonight we're making love like our last time. Like our last time. Like our last time. Like our last time. Last time.
You got what I need, though I know it might sound crazy, but I'm drowning in your sea, and I won't nobody save me. Girl, something in your eyes, making it hard for me to leave. So hard for me to leave. You make it too hard for me to leave. Oh, ride it. You make it hard for me to leave. Ride it. You make it hard for me to leave. Dance on top, oh baby, just dance on top, Dance don't stop, oh baby, just dance all night, all night.
In a cave, on a dock, on the roof, everywhere. Under the clouds, when it rains, I can please you on a desert, the bottom of the sea. No matter where we are, tonight we're making love like our last time. Like our last time. Like our last time. Like our last time. Last time. I call it 2 by 2. Good luck, then me and you. I call it 2 by 2. Tonight we're making love like our last time, like our last time, like our last time, like our last time, last time. I call it 2x2, good loving me and you. I call it 2x2, good loving me and you. I call it 2x2, good loving me and you. I call it 2x2, good loving me and you. Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals, like animals, moles. And maybe you think that you can hide. I can smell yourself for miles. Just like animals, animals, like animals, moles. Baby, I'm so what you trying to do to me? It's like we can't stop, we're enemies. And when we get along, and I'm inside you. You like a joke that's killing me. I cut you out entirely. But I get so high when I'm inside you. Yeah, you can start over, you can run free. You can find other fish in the sea. You can pretend it's meant to be, but you can't stay away from me. I can still hear you making that sound, taking me down, rolling on the ground. You can pretend that it was me, but no. Oh, baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals, like animals, moles. Maybe you think that you can hide. I can smell yourself for miles. Just like animals, animals, like animals, moles. Baby, I'm so if I run, it's not enough. You're still in my head, forever stuck. So you can do what you wanna do. Yeah. I love your lies, I leave them up, but don't deny the animal that comes alive when I'm inside of you. Yeah, you can start over, you can run free. You can find other fish in the sea. You can pretend it's meant to be, but you can't stay away from me. I can still hear you making that sound, taking me down, rolling on the ground. You can pretend that it was me, but no. Oh, baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals, like animals, moles. Maybe you think that you can hide. I can smell yourself for miles. Just like animals, animals, like animals, moles. Baby, I'm don't tell no lie, 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 lie. You can't deny, nah, nah, nah. That beast inside, side, side, side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No girl, don't lie, 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 lie. You can't deny, that beast inside, side, side, side. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is pain, this is love, this is sent from above. This is a gift from the gods, this was meant to be. You can run, you can hide, you can front, you can lie, but in time you gon' find you was meant for me. You a part of me and I'm part of you. I'm addicted, one hit won't do, I need a lot of you. Overdosing your potion, this got me floating on cloud nine. Tell me what I'm supposed to do when I run out of you. I'm through, I need a fix, like these boys need bricks and plus whips to transport them. Take cold, I seen it all, you can't short them. One more time together, I hope your new man don't mind, girl, you mine forever.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals.
I know you're getting worse than mine's out of, huh? Mine got me staying in the eye of fire. Sometimes I don't know if I'ma drown or fly. Heart so big, I be down to die. For all the ones I love, too bad they don't think I really love them. They don't understand that it's just so many of them. Hustles got so many of them. Everybody pulling at me. Can't leave the house without everybody looking at me. Had a dream last night that my wife was at my wake with my son. He said, look at daddy. Something got me thinking this might be the end. But if it is, you gon' wish for a G when I'm gone.
Drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave, slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the wave, drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave, slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream. Oh, my face above the water, and my feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like I can see the sands on the horizon. Every time you are not around, slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave, slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the stream. I can make it easy, easy to love me, still I reach, find a way, I'm stuck here in between, I'm looking for the right words to say, I'm slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave, I'm slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the
I used to pray every night when I was younger, on my knees falling hands with my mother. And my mother used to say when she was younger, she used to go to bed filled with hunger. That same hunger got her working even harder, got her traveling to Norway from Ghana. She said, my son, we're blessed, now let's say our Father. Ups and downs, that's how life go. What's high if you don't know low? So I try not to complain, appreciate life, and I keep saying,
another day goes by, another day goes by, and I thank God that I'm alive. Another day goes by, another day goes by, and I thank God that I'm alive.
I think I was about 10 years old, watching the news with my dad. I didn't see nothing but tears and blood and a bunch of people looking so mad. That's war, I was told. I said, how? That ain't nothing like the games I have. I couldn't grasp the sense of an innocent child dying by the hands of a grown man. And while some kids raised off cartoons, young girls making money in dark rooms, we all deserve a decent meal. Why his belly so soft? Why she holding that hard spoon? And where's my head of state? His crown place, tall peace, still engaged in heavy arms trade. In the jungle that we call Sin City, wildlife rules, survival of the fittest.
Another day goes by, another day goes by, and I thank God that I'm alive. Another day goes by, another day goes by, and I thank God that I'm alive. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. Yeah.
feel so close to you right now. It's a force field. I wear my heart up on my sleeve like a big deal. Your love pours down on me, surround me like a waterfall. And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now. Stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now. There's no stopping us right now.
Dire team back.
And there's no stopping us right now.
Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to the MarsTV Dota 2 League. We have tiebreaker action for you. It's just a best of one and it all comes down to this. CDEC and Newbee are tied for third place at the moment. Winner is third. Loser is fourth, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Neither of these two teams, unfortunately, is going to be advancing through to the playoffs. Those two spots are already hogged by LGD and eHome. We will have at least one more tiebreaker to go, but it's probably not going to be played. Well, it's not going to be played today. It still needs to be scheduled, and it is going to be LGD versus eHome for number 1 and number 2. But again, there is still prize money on the line. That's why we're playing this. So third place is around 12,000 USD or the equivalent, and fourth is about 8,000. So $4,000 on the line for a single game. We just had patch 6.84C drop. So for those of you who have not sat down to read it just yet, let's go really quick. We can do a little impromptu patch analysis to bring you guys up to date. 6.84C, haste duration reduced from 30 to 25, so minus 5 seconds. Mechanism cooldown increased from 45 seconds to 65 seconds, which is a pretty hefty nerf, but we're seeing a lot of pushes and we're seeing pretty much compulsory mechs across the board now, so I think that makes it a cooldown where if you force it on a single hero, it might actually be something that you can exploit. Like, oh, that guy used his mech, that's 60 seconds now. Which is a pretty big deal. Tether move speed bonus reduced from 17% to 14, 15, 16, 17. So pretty substantial nerf to Wisp's early game, especially where move speed is a very big deal. Rocket barrage damage reduced from 11, 15, 19, 23 to 8, 13, 18, 23. So substantially worse at levels 1 and 2. Now, bristleback base attack time reduced from 1.7 to increased from 1.7 to 1.8. Precision aura passive no longer has an exception for pseudo heroes like familiars. Still affects them when cast like creeps. So that means that if you have Mr. Visage right here and he's in range of Drow, then the bird's don't get the bonus anymore unless you pop it, which is a pretty huge nerf to that combo at the end of the day. Precision auras, yeah, so Spiderling, Poison Sting, Slow reduced from 15% to 12%, so nerf to Bird Mother. Holy Persuasion provides a base HP minimum of 700, 800, 900, 1000 instead of raw bonus HP. I don't know all the creep healths off the top of my head, but this makes it so that
5 seconds
all of your creeps are guaranteed to have this much health, and there are certain creeps, of course the low health creeps benefit the most, and the high HP creeps are probably not getting any kind of benefit at all. So of course a nerf to Chen. I guess it makes Clinks less good against Chen, because eating a Chen creep is no longer going to give you a crazy amount. It removes that synergy, I guess, on the allied side as well. But Tombstone HP reduced from 200, 400, 600, 800 to 175, 350, 725, 700. So bit of a nerf to Undying there. And we have some golden experience changes as well, which I'm not going to go through because they're a little bit fiddly, but basically less experience for early level kills, a tiny bit more of a comeback mechanic. So the gold changes are now getting just ridiculously complicated. We've now got a like a streak portion, a net worth portion, a scaling non-net worth portion, an AoE portion. Yeah, I just tweeted about this before, but we definitely need the full formulas posted, I think, because I'm getting so confused in following all of these changes at this stage. But anyway, that's the patch. It's out of the way. It's just dropped. Nobody's really going to be changing too much in between a game that was literally just played and this one. So we're going to be seeing some pretty familiar stuff. CDEC getting rid of Undying, and the Shadow Fiend, Newbee getting rid of Gyrocopter and Visage. We have Earthshaker and Vibrate picked up for CDEC. We have Queen of Pain and Clockwork grabbed for Newbee, so giving the Clockwork a pretty high priority overall here. But I think it's largely just to help answer the Earthshaker, because XZ went ballistic on Earthshaker in the previous game, and I think just made Rabbit extremely, extremely sad on Queen of Pain. So I think that is the primary reason that we are seeing this Clockwork being picked up, so they can give the Earthshaker a little more of a hard time. In terms of lanes thus far, it looks like we've pretty much just got off lanes covered, I would guess. Viper and Queen of Pain, of course, can end up in multiple different lanes, but both teams kind of keeping things lane focused for the time being. We could end up seeing some really weird things going on with CDEC trying to match up their Viper against the Clockwork so that they can free up somebody to go and run aggressive, but then Newbie are trying to put their Queen of Pain against the Earthshaker, and then we'll have two totally tilted matchups one way or the other. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. Definitely going to be important to get some level 1 scouting information if either team can. The Bounty Hunter is still available in the pool, but I get the feeling that CDEC might be going for something a little bit more push oriented, especially with this early Viper pickup, but we shall have to see what they end up prioritizing, as Juggernaut is actually going to end up being the ban for CDEC here. I mean, more than likely, Newbee's still looking for their 1 position, still looking for some support, so they're gonna cover 2 bases at once. I do wonder why CDEC are feeling somewhat threatened by the Jug. I guess Newbee don't have a heck of a lot of push at the moment, and the Jug can be the first kind of step towards still giving them a little bit of push and giving them some sustain. So I like the ban at least on that basis. And Banana being very considered here as well. Again, there is quite a bit on the line with this game, so worth it for both teams to, one, probably keep the patch changes up on one side and be like, what changed? Do we still want to pick this? You know, maybe not. I mean, nothing got buffed. And I've just said that, but I'm just going to make sure that that's accurate. Well, the AoE gold bounty thing kind of got buffed. a little bit. But they also changed the AoE gold numbers, so it's, yeah, anyway, it's just complicated. The golden experience now is just so complicated and opaque, and it's very, very difficult. But anyway, Phantom Lice is going to end up being the ban for Newbee. That's going to lead them into a Morphling pickup. We've got Disruptor firing back from CDEC, so great hero to have against the Queen of Pain, the Clockwork, and the Morphling. So very, very well positioned this game, in fact. And I maintain that Disruptor and Keeper of the Light are the two heroes that... it's a bit of a difficult argument to make now, because I was about to say the two heroes that are kind of lying in wait as the next big thing when it comes to support. If you can find the right opportunity to pick Disruptor and Keeper of the Light, not necessarily both together, but those two supports are very, very powerful. And they're not heroes that we see a heck of a lot of. But I feel like I'm slow poking a little bit here, because we have already seen teams like Empire making amazing use of Disruptor, and Keeper of the Light featured really heavily in the Summit. So I feel like they are starting to get kind of the starting to get the appreciation that they deserve. But we'll see what ends up happening moving forward. I think they could definitely start to become very, very big picks. But the support playing field at the moment is really level, which I think is great. So we're seeing plenty of variety, which has been really, really nice. But we've got a Broodmother picked up by CDEC. Newbee are not all that well equipped to deal with the Broodmother. They can put the Queen of Pain down on the safe lane, but that would require putting their Morphling on mid, and that would require putting their Morphling up against the Viper, which they probably don't want to do. They could run Morphling Lich as a dual lane mid and leave the Queen of Pain down bottom with the other support to help deal with the Broodmother, which could be a decent way to go about things here. And I do wonder if that's going to end up pushing the Earthshaker over onto a support role this game, as opposed to a core like we saw him in the previous. But time will tell. It does seem a little bit more likely here. Probably just Disruptor playing your 5 position and Earthshaker playing the 4. The Lich pick for Newbee I find a little bit surprising. It is fairly lane focused, but CDEC, I mean, up until the point before that hero was picked, are not the most heavily physical damage lineup in the world. And Newbee don't have that much set up to dump AoE like their Chain Frost and the Sonic Wave. I mean, yeah, you can occasionally get a good 2-hero hook off or something like that, but it's far from reliable. And now you've got potentially a million Spiderlings running around everywhere to make life very, very hard for Lich. So we'll see how Newbee are going to end up dealing with this. Axe is the ban from CDEC, Bristleback your ban from Newbee. So I think Newbee anticipating, as I am, that CDEC are looking for their whatever their 1 position hero is going to end up being here, and Newbee are just going to end up rounding out the lineup with a Rubik. So they do actually have some very good early kill potential here on the Broodmother if they manage to land the lift, Dust into a lift, and the Frost Blast. Either the Queen of Pain or the Morphling is going to be there. Waveform, Blink Scream, what have you. Could be pretty easy kills on the Broodmother. And Morphling is at least decently equipped. The Queen of Pain and the Morphling are at least decently equipped to deal with the Broodmother a little bit later in the game, when she starts to settle in and kind of do her thing. I mean, it's almost inevitable that the Broodmother is going to get some kind of a start, and she is going to be able to establish herself somewhat, but the question is how well you can deal with her at that point. But they've got some rocket flares, they've got the frost armor to throw on their towers, so the Broodmother harassment is a little bit less annoying with that. And Morphling and Queen of Pain are both very good at spamming out waves and keeping things clear that way, but they're also both very mobile heroes. They are going to have to be a little bit careful. If Broodmother does well enough, then could see a very early Orchid pickup perhaps, and that's where the Queen of Pain and the Morphling could definitely be in jeopardy, trying to hold the lane solo against the Broodmother, but I think otherwise they should be alright to go and spam things out and kind of keep control of their bottom lane. So we're going to jump ourselves in here. Looks like we might have a little bit of lags, but that's nothing that a quick disconnect reconnect can't solve. Alright, so it looks like we are good. And let's get ourselves going. So this is, for those of you just tuning in, this is the MarsTV Dota 2 League China qualifier. This is your third place tiebreaker. CDEC versus Newbee. It's just a single game, but a lot on the line. So let's get straight into it with some introductions. Over on Newbee, we have Sansheng on Rubik, Banana on Lich. We've got Moo on the Queen of Pain, Rabbit on the Morphling, and June on Clockwork. Meanwhile, for CDEC, we have XZ on Broodmother, Q on Earthshaker, Shiki on Viper, and we've got a team fight breaking out right this second, though. Doesn't look like it's much of a fight. Banana just coming up, looking to place a ward, I believe, but just gets immediately bursted down from the high ground. As CDEC are going to swoop into position looking for this bounty rune. June camping out the top rune for the time being, but looks like he's just going to end up taking it for himself. And CDEC, it's a somewhat unexpected move, but ends up working out pretty nicely there. They get the kill, they get the bounty rune bottom. And who actually grabbed the last hit there? So it was the Viper, so this is about the best start in the world that you could hope for Viper. And just going to be using that little bit of extra gold to ferry out a Tango and a Magic Stick. So it is going to end up being that Lich Morphling dual lane on mid, and Rubik Queen of Pain are just going to be heading down bot to try and deal with the Broodmother. We did see XZ placing up an Observer Ward to try and block the pull-through camp and get some vision there, but unfortunately Newbee were already there, and they did just instantly... Oh, June! It's only going to take a couple more auto attacks to kill him! Pops the salve, okay. That's going to keep him alive, but does immediately get cancelled, and that is a pretty big loss for your Clockwork here in the offlane. That was without anything whatsoever from Q. There's a Fisher there, he is 100% dead, but June going to munch on a Tango. It looks like he's going to be alright. Newbee for anti-invis down bottom. I think they've already used both of their sentry wards. But Sunshine has access to the pull, and Moo has the threat of this dust at all times. Definitely more valuable to have it on the Queen of Pain than it is to have it on the Rubik. It's much easier for the Quap to catch up and get that dust off. In terms of your middle lane, Rabbit is doing pretty nicely, so it looks like this laning configuration is going to do pretty well for Newbee overall. Didn't really get a chance to talk about this Leshrac pickup from CDEC, but Aggressive had a hell of a game on Leshrac in our second game of these two teams. For anyone who's confused, this isn't actually a best of three. It's a two-game series that just happened to result in everything getting tied up, so that's what you're seeing at the top here. And we're playing one more game to determine the winner. I don't know how Dota 2 Lounge is going to handle it. It was originally billed as a two-game series, so I'm going to guess that they're going to use the two-game series result, which was a draw, but I don't represent Dota 2 Lounge, so I can't say 100%. But for those of you out there who are interested in what's going on with that, that is the situation right now. You'll have to hear from D2L as to what exactly they're gonna end up doing. But we've got Q making a pretty big rotation all the way down to bottom lane. I do already have level 3 up on the Brood, but XZ opting for a second point in Web, so doesn't really have all that much nuking power just yet, and I don't think even that much of a threat of a kill with this Earthshaker. I think Earthshaker is actually more here to protect the Broodmother than he is to try and set up any kind of a kill. Cheeky is still copping a lot of harassment here on mid lane. These Lich denies making life pretty difficult. June getting dove under his tier 1 tower. Manages to drop down some cogs, but Guard is still looking for him. Aggressive, tanking up the tower a little bit. Unable to drop the aggro. Is he going to die? Nope. Just barely manages to get out of range and get that Tango off. Okay, that was a pretty tense moment, but a second kill for CDEC. And the early game starting to shape up decently for them, at least on kills. I think Newbee are perhaps out farming them a little bit on experience, though that first blood and the additional kill gold is going to keep on showing up on CDEC's graph here. So what else do we have going on? Mid lane actually ends up being totally abandoned for a little bit, as Rabbit, without the help of his Lich, is just going to go over into the jungle, clear things out a little bit, and make his way down early for the 4-minute rune. Banana actually doing super well on levels here. Is about to reach level 5. On the Lich mid, we've got the Broodmother Soul Ring up, so XZ again, kind of as expected, starting to get himself established on this bottom lane. Nothing too shocking really going on. Moo has the points up in the Scream of Pain. Decent at clearing out the Spiderlings, but for now it looks like it's just going to be a little bit of a farm fest. In terms of overall strategy this game, I feel like I do favor CDEC a little bit. They've definitely got the opportunity to just group up and push with the Viper. June comes walking over to mid lane, gets fissured, gets hit by the kinetic field. Cheeky gonna chase onto him a little bit. Banana does come in to help things out somewhat. Rabbit's also here, has away from it already in June. Is going to be able to deny himself to some neutral creeps. Fisher coming in. Banana's only caught by the kinetic field at the moment, but Cheeky gets in range, glimpse back just to ensure that that kill happens. And CDEC do end up claiming at least one more life on the mid lane, and another death for that Clockwork, though. Did manage to suicide, and with Clockwork dead, Aggressive going to take that as a little bit of opportunity to get some pushing done. Top lane does not have a point up in the Edict just yet, and bottom lane actually. Moo just straight up grabs a kill on the Broodmother. Looks like Brood was going in for a kill on Sunshine, but Critic Pain comes blinking in, pops the dust, they got the lift, and down goes Brood. Not the tankiest hero in the early game. Shiki now in some trouble. Mid lane, Waveform comes forward, Banana, Frost Blast in 3, Rabbit gonna take some auto attacks as punishment, but Cheeky does not have a salve or anything like that, so it looks like he's just gonna be heading back to base. And Q is going to be taking over mid lane for a little bit. So the Earthshaker at least finding a small opportunity here to grab up some farm. The Court of Pain's farm is good. Probably a little bit deceptive with some Spiderling kills mixed in there overall, but still number 1 on net worth at the moment. So XZ going to have to be pretty careful with this Spiderling micro here. June looks like... What's he up to here? He's got a tiny bit of vision left off of his Radiant Ward. XZ getting dusted up again. Spiderlings doing some damage back in return, but there's the lift. And it looks like XZ's just going to get plinked away at here. Moo doesn't actually have enough mana left to do anything else. Trying to bottle up. The Spiderlings are actually wreaking some havoc. Okay, Nuke comes out, and Banana's there to finish the job. The Sentry Ward's still down. Q lumbers in to try and get something done, but looks like there isn't much to find. Looks for the Fisher, Spiderling's doing a little bit more damage, but Fade Bolt is ready, and that is not going to be a kill. Okay, so CDEC lose the Broodmother for the second time down on bottom lane, but CDEC are getting some kind of a trade as they look towards this tier 1 tower top. There's a TP coming in from the Morphling. This might have been an overcommitment from CDEC. Garter's going to end up going down. Rabbit even gets his ticket punched back to mid lane, so he can go straight back to farming here. And June... looking for the deny here. Does Aggressive realize what's going on? Cogs get dropped down. Both heroes extremely low. Tower's extremely low as well. Fisher comes in. Okay, Q. This time around the rotation sticks. And it is going to end up being a kill off the Lightning. And a couple of auto attacks to finish the tower for Aggressive. So really good farm to start out for him. He's going to be TPing back to base just to top himself back off. Looks like same kind of build this game. So maybe see the casual point booster and then... Eel Scepter coming out from him. Shiki just continuing to farm up mid. Doing pretty well for himself. What's he got? 24 and 10 versus the Morphlings 33 and 7. So Rabbit's still doing well, but the Morphling definitely the more farm dependent of the two. And he's got some tower gold going his way, so I think Viper is looking alright. Banana is smoked, but nobody else is on the lineup at the moment, as Newbee are just going to end up camping out that 8-minute rune as a regen spawns down bottom. Moo looking for it with his bottle, gonna cop a bit of harassment off the Spiderlings, but just blinks out and looks like he's going to be alright to get back to the safety of his tower here. Actually still has some tangos, so I think worth it for him to trade a bit of damage there. He's also got the whip regen, of course, so just looking for opportunities wherever he can. We do have Aggressive smoking up with Q. Coming down towards the bottom lane. Garter actually tanks a Chain Frost top, but just barely survives. Looks like he's going to be able to TP out just barely. Chain stun bottom lane in the meantime. As XZ, Aggressive, and Q do come in, find that kill. Sunshine now on the run. He's got a TP scroll, but Fisher is going to cool down in 3 seconds time. That's the edge of the range there. And can he get it? Oh, just barely. XZ. Last auto attack there finishes it off. And that is going to be 2 kills for CDEC and probably this tier 1 tower down bottom lane as well. There is absolutely no one in range for Newbee to do anything about that. Rabbit's got some bottle sips and a TP scroll, but he does not want to have anything to do with this bottom lane. And that's going to be a pretty big deal for CDEC. They now open up the Radiant jungle for Broodmother to start farming, so looks like she's going to be just fine and aggressive. Even going to be able to TP top, spam out some lightning, and perhaps even get a deny off on his tier 1 tower. It is just too healthy to deny though, so that's a little bit annoying for him. And aggressive is just making sure that they are all the way out of his lane at the moment. He's got a observer ward to see them go as well, but not even going to give them the barest bit of experience. So XE very happy that this jungle is being opened up for him to start getting some farm net worth overall. Probably, yeah, pretty hefty lead for CDEC, about 5k their advantage right now, and after those 3 kills, one after another, they're going to bring the experience down to themselves as well. Sanshang comes outside of the base this time around, no TP scroll, and the Spiderlings finish him off easily. Banana does manage to soak up some of that gold, and Moo comes over with another dust, drops the Sonic Wave, gets some Spiderlings, gets the Broodmother, and XE will once again be biting the dust. 2, 3, and 2 on the Brood so far, so I think he's made quite a bit of space and drawn a lot of fire, but he has tanked some deaths in the process, unfortunately. So it's going to give Newbee a chance to get this bottom lane shoved out into a position that they're a little bit happier with. Moo has just grabbed a Sage's Mask thus far. In terms of item pickups this game, Yule's is definitely useful if you're the Queen of Pain, but it's a pretty defensive item on the whole, so we'll see what she ends up going for. If you're anticipating a Broodmother Orchid, then it's definitely good. Q was waiting for this initiation on mid lane, but even the Fisher is not going to be enough to save Shiki here. Pops those stick charges, but 4 heroes from Newbee have converged. Actually, all 5 heroes from Newbee converge. Drop down the Chain Frost and just make sure that Viper is dead. It's going to end up being, well, nothing for the Queen of Pain, but some pretty good golden experience going out to the rest of the heroes. And, well, unfortunately looks like no tower. However, Moo getting caught out by the Fisher into the Static Storm kinetic field. Just eats the Earth Splitter. No, not the Earth Splitter, the Split Earth. And down he goes. Sunshine also almost going down, but manages to get off the lift and open up a little bit of space for himself. XZ is on the hunt though. He senses some low health heroes, perhaps over towards mid. Yeah, he stumbles a little bit, but does now find Sunshine, pops out of the trees to say hello. One last nuke, couple more auto attacks. Spiderling's not doing all that much damage. The lift does come out. Centaur threatens the stomp, but not going to find it. And the rest of CDEC now joining the party. Chain stun out onto Banana, and that is going to be a dominating streak for Aggressive as CDEC will set their sights on this tier 1 mid. Rocket Flare, 4 points up in that one. It's going to help spam things out somewhat, as Newbee are still really keen on trying to maintain a little bit of control over their jungle right now. And that's the biggest problem for Newbee at the moment. Their jungle is being farmed by the Broodmother, but this tier 1 tower still stands top. And they've actually lost their tier 1 up here as well. So it's very difficult to get anybody to split push top lane and try and take advantage of either of these western camps. And that's just going to mean that Newbee are continuously getting out-farmed at the moment. We're still hovering around 5k net worth and about 1k experience after a bit of a hump, but CDEC definitely in the better position on the map on the whole for now. Moo, is he committed to anything just yet? Not quite. Rabbit also just picking up his initial early game items here. Broodmother does have her Midas up and running and another 1.7k, so see the beginnings of whatever item her choice is going to be as CDEC come out for another smoke, and it's just more chain stun. Moo jumps in with the Sonic Wave, but that blink is going to cost him as there are 3 heroes still waiting for him. He brings down the Disruptor, but it costs him his life, and I think not a worthy trade. End of the day, June comes in, looks towards XZ, but who is the hunter and who is the hunted? The lift comes out, the dust as well, and XZ wondering where the rest of his team is. They were just around the corner before, but abandon him for a second, and he's going to end up going down. Rabbit still pretty healthy, still has strength to morph. Sunshine gets his hands on the Fisher, but it's going to end up whiffing. Fisher coming out back the other way, and that is going to catch the Rubik as Shiki rotates in with just a couple of auto attacks. So That is 3 for 2. It does end up being an overall CDEC favored trade on experience, though it's actually going to be Newbee who come out slightly better on gold. So 900 gold for them, 600 experience versus 800 and 2,000. This tier 1 tower mid looking very low, but there is a glyph available for Newbee. They've got their clockwork hook shot at the ready. Leshrac has a Yule Scepter now. And Broodmother, what is she going for? It is Dagon Brood time, apparently. Exy has picked up a Staff of Wizardry and All Talisman, so we'll be able to deliver the zaps to maintain control of this bottom lane before too long. And it makes it really hard as any single hero to hold off against the Broodmother. We have a random salve kicking around here 15 minutes into the game. Just gonna top off Shiki as they continue to look for this push on mid. Newbee are not split pushing at all. Looks like they are interested in taking this fight, but they don't have Sonic Wave. And that could complicate matters somewhat, especially since they're fighting into the mech as well. They are going to jump on the Viper and try and burst him to begin with. Out comes the Chain Frost. Will it bounce correctly? The Static Storm in the Kinetic Field, however, keeping everybody on Newbee silenced and locked down. They don't move at all. And all 3 of them are going to end up dropping as Garter drops the hammer on Newbee's head. And they were keen to defend. They had all 5 heroes there. They could have been split pushing a little bit, but never mind. They're going to lose 3. They're going to lose the tier 1, and CDEC have all 5 heroes ready to try and pick up a second tower now. Moo just grabbed an Oblivion Staff, so it's still going to take him a little while to pick up his Orchid at this stage, and CDEC are just rolling. Shiki even manages to come out of the other end of that fight with pretty good health. And any other item pickups coming out. Just an urn for your Disruptor. Q's just managed to grab some Arcane Boots, but we have another nosedive on gold and experience. And CDEC continue to march their way forward. Aggressive now with the Vitality Booster, so he's looking pretty tanky, still number 1 on net worth. And he's just been having really amazing games on the track this, both the last game and this one. Does walk out perhaps a little bit too far here, gets Sonic Waved. And right as I'm praising him, Caster Curse comes in, and he does end up overextending somewhat on this tier 2 tower with absolutely no one nearby to defend him. From the Newbee perspective, they do even see a couple of heroes down bottom lane as well. So it's not like he was bluffing and saying, oh look, I've got teammates right behind me, you guys better not try anything. I think that was just a little bit of a brain fart from Aggressive. So okay, he gives away a bunch of golden experience there. We have a crazy de-warding war going on in the Radiant jungle at the moment. Dire Ward, Radiant Ward, Radiant Ward, Dire Ward, another Dire Ward. Yeah, things are just getting kooky down here right now. But the Dagon picked up for the Brood, so everybody on Newbee needs to be pretty careful. Sunshine staying a heck of a long way back right now. He's not gonna risk anything at this stage, as Banana just gonna start setting up for this top lane split push. They finally got that tier 1 tower down. They've opened up access to the Dire jungle a little bit, and now the Morphling can kind of start just pattern farming this out. He can push the lane, threaten the tower, get a TP, back off, farm the jungle, go grab a rune, heal back up. Maybe grab a replicate off somebody to stay nice and safe, and just rinse repeat. But CDEC are still doing a pretty good job leveraging their advantage at the moment. Aggressive gets the stun off, but Moo, having grabbed that kill a little bit earlier, does actually finish up his Orchid, and that's going to save him from any further damage here, as CDEC just keep plinking away at bottom. But Rabbit at least finding some semblance of a trade on top lane, actually laying into the tier 2 pretty well. And what do we got? We got a hook shot coming out from the Clockwork, but it's just on some Spiderlings in the tree line. Does manage to clear those out as the siege tic-tacs continue. Moo is going to push out mid lane at the same time, so it looks like Newbee are kind of shifting gears a little bit away from actually fighting CDEC head-on. CDEC TPing mid, they're going to forfeit their tier 2 top, so it ends up being a tier 2 for a tier 2 trade. Oh, they get the glimpse back, however. Moo in some trouble. Nice stun as well, lined up by Aggressive. They managed to Yule's up the Lich Replicate and start dealing a little bit of damage there. Have they realized yet? It looks like they probably have yet. I think Shiki would have gone a little bit harder if he thought it was the actual Lich, but Moo just manages to escape. I wonder if... I do wonder if Aggressive could have, like, used the Pulse Nova trick to get a little bit of extra damage done there, since... So what you can do is you can actually turn off Pulse Nova and turn it back on to get an instant pulse. It costs you more mana, but it does actually increase the damage per second of the spell. So you can get a... He could have got a double pulse right as the silence was fading. And that might have been enough for the kill. I don't know how many one charges Moo actually had, but... Anyway, so Moo escapes. CDEC still holding onto a lead, but it's getting dragged back little by little. Experience as well. Same kind of story. I've got actually a pretty strange warding situation for Newbee. They placed this ward earlier, back when they were really getting pressured. They've placed this ward for a little bit of split push top lane, but Garter's onto them. And with the kinetic field, just going to be able to get the D-ward off there. Bit of smart play, puts the sentry ward down on the low ground, so it covers this, but it also covers the potential wards that are off and over in this area. So making really good use of that, and anyone can do that with just the courier flying vision as well. So little support tip there. Newbee, big smoke gank making its way out, looking for Shiki. He's got a TP scroll. He's relatively tanky with the point booster, and he's just waiting for backup to arrive. But he gets lifted, he gets sonic waved. And he gets brought down. Q looking for something, but just runs straight into the Clockwork as Blade Mail and Hookshot ready. Comes back onto Moo, but I don't think they have enough damage. Garter auto-attacking a little bit. The Chain Frost does end up being dropped as Moo blinks a little bit further away. Aggressive now joining this fight. His Yule Scepter is still available. Moo, I think, realizing that. Just gonna pay some respect to the Leshak. And is gonna end up backing out. But it's only the 1 kill gained. And Newbee do end up trading that one 3 for 1. All the while, Rabbit getting some pushing done down on the bottom lane, starts morphing up some strength. Is it going to be enough? However, Dagon has already been used, and does just manage to replicate away to safety. Okay, so Rabbit's almost got his shotgun ready, which is very scary for quite a few heroes on CDEC. Of course, the Earthshaker and the Disruptor most notably. Garter has picked up a cloak, so it looks like he might be working towards a Glimmer Cape here to help out a little bit against the shotgun combo. Aggressive is fairly tanky and can definitely Yule Scepter to disjoint some of it, especially now that both Adaptive Strike and the Ethereal Blade are projectile based. So he's got some survivability there. Broodmother also probably a pretty straightforward kill, but Morphling's going to have to be a little bit careful he doesn't just get nuked right back the opposite direction. As soon as he goes Ethereal, eats a Dagon and spawns Spiderlings to the face. That would definitely not be fun for him, but Newbee are making some moves, making things happen. Constant Rocket Flare scouting at the Roshan pit as well, so not making it easy for CDEC to go and grab that with some potential Spiderlings, as we have some stuttering coming in. This is unfortunately just what happens on Perfect World servers as we get later into the evening on a weekday, and hopefully that'll clear up pretty soon. But Broodmother is actually your #1 hero on net worth at the moment, so Midas definitely paying dividends for XZ. Another 3,100 gold on top of everything else. It does definitely seem like we're back to Midas actually being much more of a useful item this version as compared to 683, where any kind of an advantage that you had in the numbers just got snapped right back after one bad team fight. I don't want to oversimplify the version a little bit. My opinion on it is slightly more nuanced than that, but I mean that's definitely what it came down to with Midas in some cases. That it was still good for getting a lot of experience, but some of the acceleration that you're getting is negated if the enemy team ever manages to get a kill on you. XE does just TP back. He's going to grab himself a Dagon 3, so continuing to level that one up at the moment. And it is going to start getting pretty scary for Rabbit wandering around on low strength, looking for these shotgun combos. Newbee, the last smoke that they went for was a ridiculous success, so they're going to try and replicate that here. Speaking of replicate, Rabbit does not have one up, but he's going to have one in a couple of seconds. Banana has a Chain Frost ready. And it looks like they are hunting Broodmother. Poor man's gem, using the Smoke of the Deceit and a Dust to try and spot her out, but I'm not going to find her. XZ is actually all the way over towards the middle lane. So I think he realizes that something is up. Newbee are once again on the prowl, so I can play it nice and safe. Moo is split pushing top lane. Meanwhile, just hiding in some trees. He's very close to his BKB, about 500 gold away, so long as he dodges this gank, should be okay to grab that one. He does have a TP scroll in his inventory, and he's just waiting to pop out and clear this wave. He probably won't even do it right this second, because it looks like his creep wave actually has the advantage for the time being, and he's probably content to just chill here until it pushes all the way back to him, since there isn't really any other farm to be gained on the map right now. His team's doing a pretty good job of taking up all the farm mid, all the farm in the Radiant jungle, and all the farm bottom. So it looks like Moo's just gonna chill. And that's sometimes just how you have to think about it. You have to think, okay, well, what farm is safe for my team overall? Who's taking what? What's remaining for me? Well, unfortunately for Moo, it's just this top lane at the moment, and he's gonna have to play it very cautiously. Aggressive almost has a Bloodstone completed if he wants it, but he has picked up an Ogre Club, so looks like he's going to try and grab a BKB a little bit earlier, perhaps as an answer to this Queen of Pain Orchid. He can, of course, Yules himself, but that's going to sacrifice a lot of positioning if he does so. Not going to try for that. CDEC just going to 5-man on into Roche. Does get scouted out by the Rocket Flare. This is taking them a little while. Broodmother tanking things up nicely with the Insatiable Hunger. And Newbee not really making any kind of moves towards defending this right now. Looks like they're just going to get the lanes as far as they can and get some damage down on this tier 1 tower. Q goes blinking in, but looks for the Enchant Totem first. They're still going to be able to glimpse back Sansheng, and XZ even making a little rotation over there to deliver the Dagon. Alright, okay, so the tier 1 tower looks like it's still going to end up falling anyway. June's going to come wandering in here on mid. Aegis ends up getting passed over to the Leshrac. Rabbit is nearby. He's got a double damage rune ready as well, and just gonna end up grabbing the Viper replicate. It's less annoying than it used to be. Oh wow. Alright, Moo is pushing top lane all the way up to the limit, and looks like just got punished by the Earthshaker. This is exactly what Rabbit was on the receiving end of last game, though. The Earthshaker last game was XZ's Earthshaker. Okay, so it looks like just Echo Slam dropped on the head, and a pretty straightforward kill. Sorry about missing that one, guys. My bad. But anyway. So we now have Aegis up on CDEC. Net worth is stabilized a little bit. Experience is still pretty close as well. XZ is a total menace, and he can buy some more Dagon upgrades if he so desires. We got the Bloodstone completed for Aggressive. I guess feeling a little bit safer not to complete the BKB now that he has the Aegis of the Immortal. So that's going to tip the item decision there a little bit. And Rabbit is still just farming away. I do wonder what he is going to end up going for. I feel like it's likely to just be a BKB, because even if you go for Linken's, there's a million things to pop it, including the Lightning Storm. And oh, hookshot flying in. Look at the Q. June pops the Blade Mail. Q just ignoring him for now. The mech is going to come in from the high ground. Looks like that is going to be the end of your Clockwork. June just hoping for the freebie, but it gets turned around. They've got an urn. They've got a mech. They've got everything that they need to top off this Earthshaker, and just continue the push. They've got another... Wow, they've got another 3 minutes remaining with the Aegis, so they can probably pick up this tier 2 tower top during that time. And XZ is now just going to be buying up some boots of travel, so he's actually ready to join his team anytime. And also to help deal with the Morphling split push. There's definitely a balance, or a battle of split pushing going on right now between the Broodmother and the Morphling. And Newbee, no interest whatsoever in defending this this tier 2 tower top lane. Moo does still have his 10-second BKB at the ready. Tries to push out bottom lane a little bit, but Broodmother's going to show him who's boss, though XZ is also going to show him who can get trapped in the trees. I'll leave him to solve his predicament. Okay, he's just going to TP to his team. It's like, ah, totally intentional, guys. I was just hiding in the fog. TPing out safely so that it couldn't be cancelled. But what is CDEC gonna do here? Bottom lane's pushing in. Mid lane, however, is in a pretty decent position for Newbee, though. Unfortunately, Rabbit's replicate is on cooldown, and he's not going to be poking his head too far outside of the base. Garter, just 1,200 gold up, so he is going to have his Glimmer Cape pretty soon, which is definitely going to be a very big deal against this Morphling shotgun combo. Rabbit is still yet to commit just yet to what kind of item he's going to be going for, though Hexy knows exactly what he wants. Just going to grab a couple more Dagon upgrades here. We'll see. Maybe he even goes for Ethereal Blade of his own to go along with this Dagon. I mean, really, the world is your oyster, kind of as the Brood Mother here. You can go for more pushing items if you feel that you need them. You could just go for a team fight item and grab a BKB and be able to run in and right-click people, especially since you can't really be punished all that heavily if you've got a BKB this game. So not only is it a team fighting item, but it's also a very safe split pushing item as well. Newbee do have two different ways to cancel a BKB TP. They can use the Chain Frost and they can use the hook, so you do have to be aware of that. And if you feel like the BKB is just God mode, but definitely useful for XZ here. We'll see what he opts for. I mean, Necrobook is also a possibility if he feels like they just want to sit here and siege the high ground. He could go Necromanta AC, but for now it's just CDEC keeping these lanes pushed in, and I think trying to get a little bit of value out of this Aegis if they can. Rabbit does have that BKB now up, so gonna morph Mass Agi and prepare for this fight. Newbee are not smoked, just gonna have to jump in the old-fashioned way here as Edict is working away at their tier 3 tower. Sunshine pokes his head forward, is gonna have a 4-staff very, very soon, as XZ is actually just using the spiders to get some vision up on the high ground so we can keep throwing out this very low cooldown Dagon. Not quite level 5 just yet, so doesn't have that ridiculous 10 seconds or whatever it is, but still keeping Hero's zone back. Edict doing good damage. Sunshine going to do his best to clear things out. They are going to jump in here. Aggressive in a little bit of trouble. He's actually already lost the Aegis, and he's going to get bursted down. What have they stolen? It is the kinetic field. Shiki gets orchided up. Did pop the mech. Hugo's blinking in, looking for something, but he's just going to get bursted down here by the shotgun. Gem of True Sight hits the deck. Shiki still standing strong. Double kinetic field coming out. One from Rubric, one from the Disruptor. XZ going to end up being caught. Glimpse also coming back, as XZ just going to retreat to the side. Waveform comes through, and they will end up finding Shiki as well. So it looks like Newbee timing that one down to the second, and maybe not even down to the second, but just realizing that the Leshrac Aegis was down and jumping him right as it happened. So that is going to end up being a 1-for-3 trade overall, 4.7k experience and 2.5k gold. CDEC actually losing gold overall from that fight and gaining basically nothing on the experience front. So kind of back to the drawing board for them. I'm still holding on to a little bit of a net worth lead, but looks like they're going to need a few more pieces of the puzzle before they can try and break up onto high ground. And they do have to be a little bit afraid of this Morphling, because if Morphling gets to the point where he's just a big scary right-clicker in the later stages of the game, there is not very much that CDEC can do about that. Viper's going to be picking up a BKB. I mean, Leshrac can grab a Shiva's a little bit later on, but I think Morphling kind of reigns supreme as the king of the late game for this game at the very least. Moo just coming out, pushing bottom lane a little bit, feeling kind of safe with his BKB ready, but does need to be careful. Gank party is making its way in. CDEC are on the hunt. Can they get some vision? They could go for a glimpse here. They see him, they start glimpsing him back, but BKB is going to be popped. And that's just all. That's all that's going to be forced out here for Moo. It is a 9-second BKB charge. Pretty long cooldown. If the lanes were in a better position, CDEC might be able to do something with that, but they've already had to send XZ up to top lane to deal with the split push there, so looks like this BKB is not going to be the biggest loss. And Newbee's maybe somewhat of a mind game smoke here. They lose that BKB charge, but they just immediately smoke up. And if you're CDEC, you're probably thinking, oh, they're not going to go anything because they don't have BKB Queen of Pain ready, but both mid lane and top lane are in a decent position, and I think they're just hoping to catch somebody being complacent, either pushing out mid lane or farming up the jungle. Maybe don't have the best vision, but they're just relying on intuition here. Oh, so they are going to end up finding something, perhaps. June goes hooking in, trying to find XZ. Out comes the shotgun combo. And down goes the Broodmother. June looking for a little bit more, but not really getting backed up. Fisher does fly in. He's still waiting on the high ground. Broodmother's going to end up buying back his Garter. Does manage to Glimmer Cape himself as Rabbit waveforms forward aggressively. Aggressive, just taking auto attacks here as Rabbit's BKB does end up fading. But he's going to be able to jump himself away. XZ chasing after this glimpse, pops the Dagon. And does manage to claim his revenge. Moo's now in some trouble. The chain stun comes in. And CDEC off of the buyback. Do manage to claim 2 big core kills from the Newbee side. I thought Newbee were going to get that and get out no problem, but both cores getting caught, and that is going to make the buyback, I think, more than worth it for your Broodmother. And the question now becomes, can they actually punish anything off of this? Moo is going to be buying back just to ensure that Rabbit doesn't have to. He does have buyback available, but they definitely prefer some item progression on him if they can get it. Moo has a second Ogre Club. I think he may have just grabbed that after the buyback to get a little bit of extra survivability. Hookshot comes in. Rabbit's also going to end up buying back. Q tanks the Sonic Wave to the face. And CDEC are going to sound the retreat. Can they disengage more successfully than Newbee did? Guardy gets the glimpse back, pops the Glimmer Cape and the TP out. It looks like that's going to be all it takes for him to survive. Aggressive also finds a little nook in the trees and is going to be able to escape. So they lose the Earthshaker, but they get the Morphling buyback out. The kind of lineup that they have, they can't really end the game in one fell swoop, even if they do manage to get this kill on the Morphling. And he doesn't have the longest additional respawn time in the world either, since he only bought back with about 20 or so seconds remaining. So he was just really trying to throw the buyback out there to grab a couple of extra kills, but not going to end up happening. Newbee make their way over into the pit in the meanwhile. Oh, but CDEC, they still have a tier 1 tower here. Hookshot is going to end up spotting out Aggressive and Shiki, both caught on the cogs, both isolated from the team. Buyback from the Shack. Shiki not even able to pop anything until the last moment. And gets the mech off. Buyback as well from the Viper. Now it's XZ's turn to be caught. Garter does manage to get the 2 heroes, Static Storm, Kinetic Field off, and that might be the end of Rabbit. He tries to TP out. XZ now stunned. He will be brought down by right clicks. Moo popping his BKB. Banana getting force-staffed over the top of the Fisher. Double Fisher. Echo Slams just cooled down. They're going to end up dropping Moo once again as Garter just barely manages to survive. Oh, is the Rocket Flare going to finish him? No, it's heading all the way over towards the tier 1. And that fight ends up being 3 for 3 with a double buyback from CDEC. And now we have, it's just buyback bonanza right now. I mean, they know that the Queen of Pain and the Morphling are 100% dead, so just gonna march straight onto these racks. Tier 3 goes down. That's gonna end up being popped. They don't have their Broodmother around at the moment, but okay. I was about to say that they're still doing decent damage, but this is pretty pathetic. Just auto attacking the damn thing. Diabolic Edict is cooling down right now, and it looks like they are going to be able to get it, but this is definitely not the fastest melee barracks in the world. It is some pretty nice gold for CDEC, so well worth it to stick around and grab that one. June's going to try and get some kind of a punish here as he jumps in. He's got BKB. He's going to start TPing back. He was just hoping to hold heroes here, but I think he's realized that he doesn't even have to TP out. Glimmer Cape comes in, keeping Aggressive alive, but there's still enough nukes to bring him down. And Newbee will be able to find that punish. Nicely played by June on the Clockwork. Though, okay, let's just finally take stock. So we had 1, 2, 3, all the core dire buybacks used in the last couple of minutes. We've had 1, 2 core Radiant buybacks used, and 1 support, which is the Lich. The Lane of Rax is now down. The net worth is still about 5k. The experience is still about 2.5k. And who has new items? I guess notably after all of that, Leshrac is now down to 4 Bloodstone charges, which is pretty sad for him. Broodmother looks to be just picking up some right-click items here, as looks like XZ is heading towards a Sanj. Rabbit Buyback slowed his progression somewhat. What's he working towards? I would hazard a guess at probably just Manta-style Scotty at this stage, but we'll see what he ends up opting for here. Shiki's still working on his BKB. Definitely wishes he had it in those cogs over there, but Viper not the most amazing flash farm hero in the world, so I'm none too surprised to see that he doesn't have that just yet. Moo is working towards his Aghanim Scepter. June goes hooking in over the river. Only Moo can join him just yet, and CDEC doing a good job of disengaging. Moo gonna end up tanking the Viper Strike. BKB gets forced down. That's double BKB with none used from CDEC. Now they're gonna look for the glimpse. They get it back onto June. Does manage to walk out of the kinetic field, throw down some cogs, and try and escape, but the Yule Scepter sends him skyward. XE holding off the rest of the team as Q drops the 3-hero Echo Slam. Static Storm coming in as well. They're doing good work with the Chain Frost. It's gonna bring down one. It almost brings down Garter as well. Q, one last auto attack from him. Finishes off the Rubik. Banana still kiting backwards as Rabbit now joins this fight. Gonna try and combo down the Earthshaker, but the Glimmer Cape once again comes to the rescue. Another Fisher thrown out. And Shiki just gonna lay in with a few last auto attacks to finish off your Lich. And the pursuit continues onto Rabbit, getting glimpsed back. He does have a replicate available, but getting chain stunned for the moment. Does manage to bring down Q. Good situational awareness there. And replicates himself out. That was actually really slick. I think a lot of people would have just guaranteed that they survived with the replicate, but finds the Earthshaker. Does end up making it a 3-for-2 overall, but I think definitely a fight that ends up favoring CDEC. Rabbit is just gonna, he buys a blink, he sells a blink. What's he gonna go for here?
Are under attack.
I feel like he's a little bit annoyed at the fact that he, if not for the existence of Glimmer Cape, that Earthshaker dies right there, but Garter's been making some pretty big plays with this item thus far, and with the new projectile speed on Ethereal Blade and Adaptive Strike, it makes it really difficult for the Morphling Shotgun to really have that much of a kick behind it. But anyway, so the ranged barracks mid does end up going down. That's some extra gold flowing into CDEC's pockets. XE's got that Sanj complete. Didn't really get anything out of that fight since he was the first one to hit the deck, so none too surprising that he doesn't have another item after that. Aggressive did manage to recover some Bloodstone charges and has picked up a plate mail, so it's going to be a bit more difficult for the Morphling to just sit there and auto attack down like we saw over here in that fight. And what else from CDEC? They've had this gem up for a little bit, I believe. In terms of map control, neither team is looking all that impressive. CDEC's ward's a little bit further out, though this observer actually almost got dewarded. And right as I say that, CDEC immediately plopped down another observer ward just to maintain some vision over the pit. So they're looking alright. Newbee are the ones who are somewhat blind, courtesy of that gem. Banana has been able to pick up a Glimmer Cape of his own, and this Lich is actually pretty stacked for his position on the net worth. He's got a mech, he's got a Glimmer Cape, he's looking pretty good. Sansheng, Blink Force Gem. So things also going well for him. And Spiderling armies are now heading out over the map. So I think get some push done and just to try and get a little bit of scouting information. That's the one thing that we haven't seen from XZ, which we do see from some Broodmother players, which is the cloning of the Spiderlings out across the map to try and grab some additional information. For anyone who doesn't know how that works, you basically just add all of you just select all the units that you want in the control group, you send them all to the first location, you drop one of them out, you send the rest of them on, so now you've got one person at the first location. Second location, you drop another one out of the control group by shift-clicking on the portrait, and you just spam everywhere on the map, and you get a ridiculous amount of vision. If you're totally crazy, you can put everything on patrol as well with some... Well, not even... You can't patrol anymore, but you can just shift-key them around a little bit, but... Yeah, I feel like that has been somewhat lacking from XZ. I mean, we do see the occasional Spiderling poking its head out and getting some scouting vision here and there, but it is a little bit slow. But there are a bunch of Spiderlings pushing up bottom lane. Mid is pushing itself in, and that makes life really hard for Newbee right now. I mean, if the Morphling gets any split pushing time, it's kind of just dedicated to keeping these lanes out at the moment. There's an Aghanim Scepter now up on the Queen of Pain, so Moo gets an extra kick behind his Sonic Wave, and he gets the reduced cooldown as well. So he can now consider using it to split push and get lanes out somewhat, which he is not going to do here. Just going to leave that one to Rabbit. He's picked up the first ultimate orb thus far, so probably seeing the Scotty coming out from him before too long. And CDEC are just chilling by Roshan. They're not taking it. They're not really farming all that much either. The Dire jungle goes completely unutilized, but they're not willing to split up while Newbee are off the map. And they're actually going for a smoke of their own. Newbee, Banana, and Moo make their way up onto the high ground. They are a little bit split. Rabbit somewhat further behind, and this replicate's only going to be up for another couple of seconds. Can they get the chain stun? It looks like they will be able to. The hookshot comes in from June, trying to save the Morphling, but he's already down. Xy's just right-clicking away, finishing off the clockwork. They do end up losing Garter, but he buys back into the game immediately. Cheeky going hard with his BKB, just right-clicking away. It's a 2-for-1 so far, with the buyback coming in, and Q's not done. Does manage to find some more chain stun on Banana, hunting with the Fisher over towards the Queen of Pain, but not going to find their Sansheng. Also trapped out, and that is going to end up being your 4-for-2 overall. CDEC, what can they get done? They can go right down mid, and they can try and grab another lane just via the mid lane. Rabbit does actually have buyback back up, so that's something that they're going to have to be a little bit cautious about. And the Lich also has buyback here, but CDEC do still have a glyph to get through. Have to make sure that they keep creeps inside the base, and they are still not the most impressive lineup when it comes to damaging buildings outside of the Edict, which is only going to be up a little bit longer. Glyph gets used, Clockwork's back up. CDEC have seen this story before. They got punished by the clock on the retreat on the mid lane, but this time around that is going to stick in their minds, and they are going to back up just that little bit more defensively. So Newbee lose a fight pretty badly, but it's only going to cost them a glyph and some health on the tier 3. And Hope still definitely alive for now. But it's still a long road to recovery. Tier 1 still stands bottom lane. Tier 2 standing on both mid and bot, so they gotta find some way to start getting these fights to... Well, just getting these fights to go their way. I don't know what else to say about it. The Scotty from Rabbit is going to help him out a bit. I mean, the only reason that he doesn't survive there is that he doesn't get out of chain stun for even a fraction of a second to pop BKB in waveform or pop BKB and replicate out. Newbee are continuing to scout the Roshan pit, but I feel like CDEC are just not interested in going in there at all. Even if they have good vision in the area of the pit, it's just way too dangerous to get punished by Chain Frost and Sonic Wave if they go in there. So I think they would much rather take a fight away from the pit, hopefully win it, and then go from there. Looks like Rabbit is going to get his Scotty delivered up on top lane. Has a little bit of vision off of this Radiant Observer, and with the knowledge that Rabbit is up there, CDEC do head into the pit. XZ is staying outside, scouting things out a little bit, just staying in a position where he can reveal a smoke, but won't immediately get punished for it, because they've got vision to scout heroes coming in towards the pit anyway. Does send some spiderlings out. Looks like Newbee don't even have a smoke available, so it's just hoofing it towards the pit for them. They do scout things out with the rocket flare, and that's going to cause an immediate scatter from CDEC as they just head over towards the east. Does anyone actually have a smoke available at the moment? That is a pretty solid question. 5 minutes for another smoke for the Dire, 7 minutes for another smoke for the Radiant, and I don't think there's one on either Curry or not. Okay, so both teams just going to have to go at this the old-fashioned way here. Viper does have a 9-second BKB still at the ready, so pretty good duration for him. 5-second BKB for the Leshrac, probably 5-second BKB for the Queen of Pain, and a 5-second BKB for the Morphling. So the Viper, the only one really working with all that much at the moment. Queen of Pain probably going to pick up a Refresher Orb, I would guess, as the next item. Could also be a Hex. but that's going to help deal with the BKB somewhat. But anyway, wand has been dropped. CDEC grabbing this Roshan. Aegis over onto Leshrac. Garter getting jumped. Does manage to force staff himself out and up onto the high ground here. Invis with the Glimmer Cape as well. Aggressive getting lifted up. Aegis is lost. Shiki just auto-attacking a little bit. Garter trying to drop some spells before he ends up going down. Aggressive back to life here. Not the best coordination. They dropped the Echo Slime and the Yule Scepter at the same time, but they still managed to bring down Rabbit. Just getting burned up. Banana trying to escape, but no force staff to get up onto the high ground. Just forced to use the Glimmer Cape for now, but that fades, and he's going to end up going down. Rubik also being caught. Mood does manage to blink away and TP to safety, but the fight ends up being a 3-for-1 plus the Aegis. And CDEC head straight down towards bottom. With that Scotty purchase, there's actually nowhere near enough gold for buyback on your Morphling. And CDEC could very well claim another lane here. Do need to be a little bit careful. Actually, wait, is there a glyph? Okay, no glyph, but the Queen of Pain can Sonic Wave one wave to keep it out. We're just probably going to come back over and do that. Cogs stalling things a little bit as well. Bit of chain stun coming in. Moo does need to be a little bit careful. Q still has more in his arsenal. June does jump in with the hookshot, counter-initiating things somewhat. Q now in some trouble. Does get Glimmer Caped, and a Dagon flies in from XZ just to seal the deal. It's only Moo alive at the moment. No Sonic Wave, not a heck of a lot of health. Rubik's going to be back up in a few seconds, but Rax is already down, and CDEC are already out of there. Got an AC actually picked up for the Leshrac just to help deal with some of these pushing issues that they've, well, these building damage issues that they've been having.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And for Newbee, they are just left to pick up the pieces. They're now down by 14k net worth, 10k experience, and I'm honestly not sure what they do. They've still been unable to get anything done in these team fights just because of all the chain stun. The Ethereal Blade is feeling really unimpressive, and we are starting to see some of the weaknesses of just having a of only having a Clockwork to be initiating your fights for you, because he's jumping in and he's cogging somebody, but there's always an immediate force staff and a Glimmer Cape, so that initial jump doesn't even necessarily result in a kill. And it feels like Newbee are just spending forever chasing people around in circles, while CDEC Q just blinks in, chain stun somebody, and that person goes from full to nothing, absolutely no problem. So I don't know what Newbee are going to be able to do. I guess Moob maybe just goes for a Hex as the next item and hopes that he's going to be able to blink in and aid with the initiation somewhat. In terms of buybacks, he's got buyback available. Morphling's still farming for it at the moment. But they're definitely going to need it to try and hold on to the high ground. Shiki's actually got a Reaver picked up now, so probably going to be seeing Heart Viper before too long. Aggressive has picked up a Blink. Oh, Rabbit, that's waveform used. He does not have a replicant up at the moment either. This could be a pretty big deal. Does pop the BKB and starts turning around and right-clicking away. His team is none too far away. Looking to help him out a little bit, but he gets caught by the chain stun. Doesn't get trapped inside the kinetic field. Nice force staff getting him a little bit further away, but he's still going to be brought down, and now Newbee just have to run for the hills. Chun drops down the cogs. It blocks Sancheng a little bit. Does manage to BKB through the glimpse. And we'll be able to TP his way out, but Newbee still end up losing too. That's going to be another death for your Morphling as CDEC find themselves in the perfect position to just push through top lane. Aggressive is actually even just going straight towards mid, I think hoping to catch somebody dealing with these mid creeps, and he may do just that. Looks like he's waiting for his team to get into a slightly better position up on top lane. He's got 16 Bloodstone charges at the moment. Unfortunately, not enough gold to buy Boots of Travel if he dies, but the Rax and a couple of kills could do that for him. And with 40 seconds dead, this could actually just be it. This could just be Mega Creeps. Sonic Wave's up in 5 seconds, but Tier 3 falls. Melee Barracks up next. Banana's just auto-attacking Spiderlings in the fountain. He hasn't even ice armored his buildings, and that is the GG called. So that is going to wrap up the tiebreaker. It is going to end up being CDEC taking the 3rd place spot here in the MarsTV Dota 2 League China qualifier. So unfortunately, they don't quite sneak their way through into the playoffs. Would have required a top 2 spot for that, but still a great showing from them, and still going to be going home with about $12,000, and of course have the DoTA qualifiers to look forward to as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. We still have one last match to be played for the MDL, but it's not going to be played tonight. That's your eHome versus LGD tiebreaker. So I think stay tuned on Facebook and social media as to when that match is going to be played. It'll probably pop up on Dota 2 Lounge and Ghost of Gamers and Join Dota as well once it's scheduled. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the cast. A little bit impromptu on my end. I was not expecting to be casting today, but ended up being around and there were some uncovered matches, so I hope you enjoyed it all the same. If you want to support me at all, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter under the name of Basekip. My name's just down in the bottom right hand corner. If you'd like to email me any feedback, you can find me at basekipdota@gmail.com. Don't forget the ticket is still available in the store as well if you're interested. The qualifier games are now pretty much wrapped up, but there's still the group stages and the playoffs for the main event, which should be pretty hype. Big LAN finals coming up, and the Warlock set thrown in there as well for $6. So do go and check that out. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and that's going to wrap it up. I'll see you next time.